What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Happy Friday and welcome here to Series E MultiVersus. My name is Yeso, your host as always for the best way to close out your week. So welcome in. Hope you all are having a great Friday. Looking forward to an awesome weekend. Maybe there's some new games. Maybe there's a beta you're going to be playing in all week long. If you can get through the login queue, we'll find out. But at the very least, maybe while you're waiting to get in on those games, you can hang out with us here and enjoy some fun MultiVersus action. Now, before we jump into all the fun stuff, let's talk about what Series E is all about. Now, Series E is a professional esports open circuit that absolutely anyone can join across multiple different titles. We've got MultiVersus, Apex Legends, and of course, Guilty Gear Strive at the front. Yeah, MultiVersus. That's what's most important here today. But the way that it works is players and teams come out, they compete in our open qualifiers, and the best of the best make it into Series E. Now, what does that mean for them? Well, players will get the opportunity to sign a contract, get sponsored by one of our partnered brands, earn a monthly salary, and compete weekly for points and prize money. In MultiVersus, it's every single Friday against some of the best duos from all across North America. So if you and your friends want to get in on the fun, or maybe you have some further questions on how things work, head over to esportsarena.com today. Now, as we come back here into the studio, let's take a quick look back at what we saw a week ago. Of course, we're getting very close to the end of the season. Overall standings getting tight. Duos fighting to keep their spot here in Series E and also fighting to be crowned a champion here in the inaugural season of Series E MultiVersus. And we saw one team making a big push to make some noise here late in the season. We saw State Fair winning their second bracket of the season just a week ago in one of the most impressive runs we've seen all season long. After getting knocked down to the losers bracket in round one by World's Greatest Detective, State Fair made an amazing push all the way through that losers bracket, beating Moonlit Knights, Inside Out, Aegon by AOC, and Vitamin Water just to earn a shot at revenge at World's Greatest Detective in Grand Finals. And they did it. They get into Grand Finals, win a decisive Game 5 set in the first set of Grands, and then 3-1 in the reset to take the championship there. And State Fair were so impressive last week. And again, one of the most impressive runs we've seen all season long. Now, they still have quite a bit of ground to make up, and it's going to be hard to catch up to Vitamin Water, who seem to be our locked-in champions for the season, but you never know what will happen in these last few weeks. But at the very least, State Fair really trying to separate themselves from the pack here late in the season, and I absolutely love to see it. Looking forward to see how they continue their momentum from last Friday here today, and of course how the other teams respond. Vitamin Water with a little bit of a dip here over the last few weeks after their dominant start to the year. Can they bounce back? Can World's Greatest Detective find redemption after getting upset there in Grand Finals after being pretty dominant against State Fair in Winners Round 1? We will see all that and more here today. A good couple of friends of mine, Charles and EE, are in the studio right next door to bring you all the action today. And of course, I'll be hanging out here in Studio Blue, updating you on the bracket and plenty more. So you can look forward to that all night long. But let's not waste any time here. It's Series E MultiVersus, folks, and we've got a stacked bracket ready to go. Let's get into the fun.
What's going to be the play? Uppercut. Yes, sir. Up there. And
there we go.
Oh, and,
we're going to have a 2-hole stock lead.
Oh, and then the butt bomb Cosmos is out of there. Oh, my God.
It's with you, but I mean, look at how close it is already. We have all 4 players at over 100%. Mirror Man's going to lose his first stock on the dagger on the Villa, which is going to be very good because then it can just be bringing himself right on over to deal with Martoon, and they're going to be able to get it to
He knows he can't really send Arya.
Bro, Mirror Man is looking so hard for this kill, and he's going to be able to get it. Oh my goodness. So blue team going to take the first game out of nowhere.
All right. You already know, man. First of all, big shout out to Yeso getting us here. It is time. Your boy E, my man Charles right there. We're here for another edition of Series E. We are winding down closer and closer towards the end of this season, as it was explained to us all. Team Vitamin Water with the lead, but a couple of other teams, Charles, trying to close the gap a little bit and at the very least make it interesting so you're never quite sure what that finale has in store.
Yeah, one of the biggest meta shifts, honestly, in doubles has occurred with the nerf of Velma. That Megaphone nerf was quite the hit. So we're seeing a lot of teams adapt. Some teams adapting a little better than others because, you know, just in terms of what characters are strong, we've seen a huge uptick with Iron Giant, and Team State Fair taking huge advantage of that. They were the Iron Giant team, right? So no surprise there, and it's just so great to see them, you know, really take strides in this meta. And also on the other side of the coin, we got Team Vitamin Water still really trying to figure it out. Velma was the most prominent doubles character, especially in this particular tournament. So we're seeing a lot of different shifts for a lot of different teams, and it's really exciting to watch.
I think the variety is just fantastic. Like I've always said, like if you're going to be doing balances and nerfs and patches and stuff like that, and, you know, for a competitive game, like have it come in waves or formats. I kind of feel like this just in general has just been a format shift. Again, you touched on how Velma's been changed to the point where like the last week we were here, we didn't even see like some competitors even opt to try her. You know what I'm saying? Maybe because like in testing, it just was not working out. But on the other hand, it has given birth to some interesting duos and team combinations. As it was said, Team State Fair getting another win last week, I believe Yeso said. So that's pretty sick to see them kind of back in the winner's circle after a hard run throughout losers and grands. I mean, the world's greatest detectives. We know how talented they are. So anytime you can beat that team twice, like that says something.
Yeah, from losers, Team State Fair doing a wonderful job just locking in all those points. It is still quite a gap that Vitamin Water has made, but we'll see if they can close that gap. Here are the point distributions and the rules as well. So of course we got the double elimination, best of 3 until that top 4, of course, which then will switch into that top 5. We got the default timer at 7 minutes. Trust me, with this game you don't need that much time. 4-minute ring out, or 4 ring outs, and then we got the hazards off, of course. All perks are legal. Winner must keep characters, so you have a lot of counter pick interactions, and then losers can switch after confirming the winner's character picks. And here's our stage list. And of course, the prizing. Shoutouts to Series E Esports Arena, also providing this consistent prizing for all these competitors to compete for 300, 150, then 50. And then, of course, we're talking about the long terms, the qualifying points here. So you want to rack up these points for that chance to keep your sponsor for the next season.
100%, man. It's basically, look, it's top 1, baby. You win and you're in, okay? You gotta be first. Nobody remembers second, and that's never more true for what's going on here because you're out, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, yes, first place, you got to get it, 50 points. I mean, and yes, it is obviously not exactly going to be the easiest thing to overtake Team Vitamin Water because they had that streak of like 5 or 6 weeks of just first. They accumulated so many points. It's very, very helpful in a lot of those situations. But, you know, with a little bit of bracket luck, you know, they fall off a little bit. Maybe they're getting some 4th places, maybe even 5th, not exactly showing up in that upper echelon. Like some of those other teams that are kind of close can creep up if they can really get it together, tighten things up. Like that's really what it is. Like I know a couple weeks ago we were talking about it seems like it was just like kind of a race to see who would finish in 2nd place. Now I feel like although like I feel like the door still, it's cracked. It's not open yet, but it's cracked. You can kind of see through, and what you're looking at is a glimmer of hope. So with that in mind, I hope all these teams know that they should still be competing and giving their absolute best. I mean, we have so many talented individuals in this bracket. Like this tournament, Series E in general, has done an excellent job of showcasing what MultiVersus is all about, and that's the 2v2 aspect, and it has not disappointed.
Oh yeah, and that's the big gamble that MultiVersus took coming into the esports scene with that 2v2 format. Yep. And I think it's really fun to play. I mean, every time I've played, I've had a really good time, and even just watching 2v2, it's so fast, it's so explosive, and there's so much going on. So it's just a lot of action to watch here. We're going to get right into it. Of course, Team Vitamin Water, and it looks like they're going to go with the Velma.
All right. I mean, this is, you know, again, this is a team combination that has given them much success, though Velma has had to endure some changes, obviously, throughout that new patch. We'll see if they were able to kind of get it together. I mean, really, it kind of gets back to one of those things, Charles, like even with some changes, if you're not seeing those results that you're used to, you kind of want to get back to basics, get back into the flow of what was working. You're just like, okay, well, how do we adapt to what otherwise seemed like it was just a little too much to deal with? But back on it, Kosalix and Miraman trying to reestablish themselves. Not doing a bad start at all against this Jake Shaggy combination.
Yeah, Team Mike and Knight coming through, trying to make the upset here. And if you're any team trying to get into that first, not only do you need to perform and stack up all those first places, but you also got to make sure Vitamin Water doesn't get too much points as well. So Vitamin Water also has to place very, very low. So that's going to be very difficult. Especially with these Velma nerfs, I do like how Team Vitamin Water is working around that. You more so want to hit your teammate with the megaphone just because of the range getting reduced, right? So more so on your teammate instead of launching it full screen is going to be the strategy here. And it looks like a very even game, 1 point a pop here.
Yeah, definitely liking the way they're kind of scrapping this one out. Yeah, you mentioned it, like, keeping, Team Vitamin Water away from as many of those points as possible. Definitely the goal for every team in this bracket who's still, maybe even thinking like they have a chance still to maybe get that first place slot. So gotta imagine, man. I mean, it's just basically them against the world at this point. Everybody kind of probably rooting for Team Mike and Ike in this bracket, but nonetheless, it's a good one thus far. 2 ring outs on the favor of the blue team, though. Trying to make it 3, though. Shaggy able to get back and actually get his offense flowing a little bit, trying to apply some of that pressure.
Yeah, and I know Jake is a character that you love to watch. We've been seeing a little bit more Jake and Shaggy, honestly. It's kind of scattered around other teams here. And I also think it's very interesting that Team Vitamin Water opting to go back to the Velma, something that can kind of seem a little risky, but I feel like overall Velma was still a great character. You don't have that absurd range with the megaphone, so you got to commit a little bit closer, but that's still fantastic.
Wow, Mirror Man going on an absolute tear. He is just delivering a whole lot of damage en route to trying to get this other ring out right there on the table. It's going to take a little bit more, but they are definitely feeling it. I'm loving the teamwork right now, though. 2 ring outs apiece, though, so you got to be careful. So very even contest.
Yeah, and especially when you're going up against this Bruiser team, right? Jake and Shaggy, a little bit on the heavier side, so it's going to be a little harder to KO, and if the points are even, even if the percent is even, it's not necessarily even when it comes to these characters.
Correct, 100%.
Ooh, the setup here, the tipper, side air, going to connect. Okay, the up attack.
Oh, wow.
Quite it, but look at the sneaky ring out.
Yeah, Jake making a play. Okay, but we are even up right now. Who wants some more? Maybe Velma and Jake going to be the difference makers. Whoever can survive longer.
Yeah, and the thing is, I mean, you see Mirror Man just come right in off that spawn. And the crazy thing about bugs coming in on the respawn is that up rocket is going to be immediate. It's just such a high reward, right? You get hit by that. It can either combo into a KO setup or just straight up get the KO in itself.
Yeah. Oh, there's that. Coming through. Oh, man, got it. Yes. Okay, the follow-up on Jake actually going to result in the final ring out. Team Vitamin Water able to clutch up there down the stretch and get this first game in winners round 1. Nicely done.
Yeah, the KBI on that as well. Since Jake was dodging in, you're going to get that in KBI as well. So it's just going to KO so much earlier. And you see Mirror Man get those specific scenarios so much, right? There's so much that bugs threatens there. There's the side air that you can get hit by. There's also that up air.
Yep.
So many different things. You try to go for the early dodge, maybe anticipate Mirror Man swinging early, but Mirror Man always just that step ahead. And we talk about so many times how clutch Mirror Man is in so many situations, which is why they're leading in the points by so far, right? Costlix and Mirror Man, such a great duel. Costlix just does such a great job of that survivability, that backline support, and really enabling Mirror Man to be so clutch.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and we even touched on it, during that match where Mirror Man kind of had that like 10, 15 seconds of a rampage he went on, just accumulating so many points and trying to help them, clear house, get those ring outs. So that's really what he can bring to the table. And Costlix oftentimes just offers that perfect complement, that perfect support system that he needs. The consistency definitely coming through for this team when they needed to, as well as that clutch factor. Just again, and you see Team Mike and Ike, like obviously no easy opponents by any means. Like that is very clear. And again, too, with this new combination of Jake and Shaggy, kind of throwing them a little bit through a loop. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that they were able to kind of assert their dominance at the end of that and get the final kill, which you're going to see here on Jake, was sensational.
Yeah, and early patch meta is always exciting no matter what game you're watching, right? All these different teams trying to figure it out, and it's really fun to see. And wow, it looks like that was so close. You actually saw Velma there getting KO'd as the bugs up air connected. So literally seconds away from that. And I mean,
it was a close
again, we talk about being clutch, right? You can't get any clutcher than that. Just seconds away from the defeat, but you're able to just get the KO faster, but you got to watch it 40%. You don't want to go out that early. We got a scramble here on that right wall, but it looks like everyone going to get back on the stage, but actually no, Mirror Man taking a bunch of more damage and just getting dunked into that bottom area there on the right side.
They put Mirror Man in a really poor position at the start of that game and just used that. It just kind of kept up the pressure too, and he was not able to recover. Obviously, Jake being able to use those arms, get that good extension, able to get that spike and put him in the dirt. So that's a quick ring out for this red team. Definitely eager to get on the board. Not trying to start out the tournament in losers for sure.
Yeah, and that's the thing that we love so much when we commentate or just watch this game, especially in doubles, when you get to see those 2v1 scenarios. And I mean, when executed perfectly, it just feels like your opponent doesn't have any options.
Oh my golly, Jake, please. Now, I feel like Jake was definitely around in game number 1, but he is making his presence felt in this second game. What a response from them. 2 ring outs.
Yeah, and Jake doing a wonderful job of also reflecting a lot of these projectiles here. And they just stick around for so long. As I say it, the redemption from Mirror Man coming through, stacking 2, because Mirror Man is the reason why those 2 red points are on the other side there. So a little bit of a redemption for him, getting the double KO there.
Yeah, props to him. Definitely, again, always able to stay super engaged. Oh, nice combination. Yeah, Shaggy was kind of left to his own devices. And Mirror Man, this is what I'm talking about. Sometimes he can just take over a game. Going on a little bit of a run right now, picking up a lot of pressure. And then Velma doing a good job. Very good compliment, even when they are separated a little bit. These word bubbles trying to run a bit of interference.
Oh man, you were taking a bunch of damage. Caustic's finally getting back on the stage. The safe does get enabled here. All center stage is it's all in blue favor here. Can they take advantage of this? Ooh. Look at this. They're racking up so much damage.
Yes. Oh my goodness. All right, just taking the lead back.
Oh, okay,
they're gonna finish it off.
Wow,
Yes,
that's so crazy. And you saw that one sequence. They just snowballed that center stage control. They got that 2v2 just juggle and got so much damage, got a KO, and then off the back of that scenario, Caustic's coming through with the dare. Amazing stuff. They were down by so much there. And then that is the worst scenario in doubles, when you get double KO'd, because like, dang, why was I standing right next to my teammate? Because you want to assist your teammate a lot, but you also don't want to get hit by the same move your teammate gets hit by, right?
Yeah, and
you want to be able to
like
punish afterwards.
You saw right there the quick opening that led to the first ring out on their favor, and then this follow-up was great. Boom, not 1 but 2 on that up air. Beautiful done. And you're thinking right there, okay, we're going to game number 3. You know what I'm saying? Like, at that point, it kind of feels like that's the writing on the wall, just to get such a hot and strong start. But they did let that momentum fizzle a little bit. And this right here, the double KO, brought them right back in there. Obviously, Velma at a higher percent. But, of course, that is Caustic's piloting that character. We know he can hold his own against anybody.
Yeah, and you don't want to land on Velma either. Caustic was controlling that grounded area so well. So it just, again, really enabling and covering multiple options here.
Yep.
And this is where you see just the good from the great teams, right? Being able to bring back from a deficit like this and really take your advantage and push it as far as possible. Because even with that opening that team Mike and I got, they just weren't able to keep that lead, right? And man, that's just the crazy thing about Vitamin Water. That's just what makes them so strong.
Yeah. Velma proven to be more than just, she's not just an onlooker, you know what I'm saying? She can get involved in the fray too, getting that last ring out and making sure that the blue team was able to complete that comeback, because that was a heck of a comeback they had to make for sure. But kind of goes to my point, like I was saying, like, you know, again, kind of middle of the game, we saw Mirror Man just take over and just go on a tear, and it's just so instrumental in what they're able to do. Even when they're down, this team is certainly never out, which does go to show why they have so much win. So many wins here at Series E. So kudos to them. They survived round 1. Wasn't easy, but you know what? Advancing to semis, good stuff.
Yeah, and if you're Team Vitamin Water, you just have to keep placing within that top 3, top 4, and you will be fine in terms of points.
Yeah.
Obviously, they are a team that is going for that first place no matter what. One of the best teams, or the best team right now in terms of average placements, just always have been killing it. And even adapting to some of these Velma nerfs and still rocking the Velma. They looked a little shaky without the Velma, so I like the fact that they're still trying the Velma. The Megaphone nerf is a very large hit, but I think Velma can still play close enough. It is a little riskier, but you're just gonna use it in less scenarios, right? So I think Velma does have a bunch of other tools like speech bubbles and stuff, or just your actual moves to command certain spaces, and you always have the out of hitting your ally with that Megaphone, right? So I think with the nerfs, there was a specific direction they wanted to give Velma in terms of like, okay, well, she can't be that far away and be a threat.
Got to engage.
Right, there's got to be a little bit more engagement. You got to be a little bit closer, or your teammates got to be close so you can tag the Megaphone onto your teammate, which is still a great strategy and still has that range, that bonus range, right? So
I 100% agree. Kudos to them for, I mean, at the end of the day, just making it work, you know? Like, and I think like there's like, it's very common throughout just, you know, all kind of fighting games. If a character that's really good kind of gets nerfed, you kind of put her to the side and you're just on to the next one. But I think in this case, they were like, okay, maybe we shelved her a bit too soon. Let's see if we can still make this team comp work. And at least for that round, they certainly did, as we're going to go ahead and head on to the next game. Team Aegon by AOC taking on last week's champs, Team State Fair. Been quite the winning drought for this team until that insane run they went on last week. Let's see if they can keep some of that momentum intact. You're seeing them playing the Harley Iron Giant combination. Iron Giant, definitely a character I see has come back into the fold in a big way, and I love that because he is a big body, and you know that, Chuck. I love the big body characters.
Yeah, and this is another team that also used Velma. Velma was a great pair with the Iron Giant, but also struggled against other Velmas as well. Just Velma having the megaphone to shred through all the screws. But we see the switch to Harley here, working out and also just getting into Iron Giant, being a little bit stronger, having a little bit more of the projectiles and the bubbles as well. And look, Ross is another player that just so talented, but we've seen him switching between so many different characters, right? We've seen the Black Adam, now here on the Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, likes to, I mean, it kind of makes sense. Like, I think, like, he oftentimes, I feel like he just has, like, a character crisis, right? It's hard for him to just kind of commit to one character, but nonetheless, I mean, when you're that talented, it does help, but 2 ring-outs back-to-back is not going to help, not the way you want to start it off. Last week's champs trying to put their stamp on this bracket early on, just going on an absolute massacre. They are taking it to the blue team, who they can't even really establish any kind of stage presence. My goodness. Let him breathe.
Yeah, Clueless is spinning those arms right now, finally taking a bunch of damage. You usually see Iron Giant being the one that's getting comboed here, but Clueless definitely taking things into his own hands here, going for the edge guard. This is looking like a real trouble for the blue team. There's so many missiles, there's so much things to avoid, and then you go low. There is nowhere to go. Clueless just destroying the blue team off stage. What is happening?
Oh my goodness, bro. Like, that wasn't even close. Like, just completely mollywopped them. I mean, you don't even have to play highlights, bro. Just play the setback. It's about the same amount of time. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, good Lord, that was a dominant game.
When I said we don't need that 7-minute timer, I wasn't lying.
He was not capping.
Yeah, and that's the thing about a lot of these teams. As we advance in the meta, a lot of these teams, their offense is just it's just getting so high level, right? And this is even with the anti-infinite nerf, where they kind of nerfed using the same moves over and over again in a combo specifically, but the advantage state, and especially between 2 characters, look at this, both of them locked up in the bubble, and there's just nowhere to go. Look at these missiles.
Yeah,
perfect. 2 sets of missiles, where do you go? And then it's like, okay, well, you have to go low. Let me put another projectile here, and yep, there's the bomb there.
Caught him, baby.
There is just so little you can do, and you have so little resource in that situation because you were already put far out by the bubble.
Yes.
Amazing stuff coming out from Clueless and Meth. Just establishing the lead early and then getting that insane double edge guard. And again, this game really comes down to how creative and how well you can execute these 2v1 edge guards or these 2v1 advantage states like juggles and stuff, or the 2v2. And we've seen it many times, and you can get reversaled in that situation, but I think with all the safety of the projectiles, I think Clueless was pretty fine.
Yeah, he had a clue on what to do on that one for sure. Like, that was just super impressive. Love to see it. Seems like this team has really found their chemistry again, taking into account what we saw last week and then coming in here to round 1, game 1. Granted, it is only one game. One game doesn't define the set, but it definitely sets the tone, and that is a hell of a tone setter for a Team State Fair. So we'll see how game number 2 is going to. It'll be like if Team AOC can bounce back from that, super impressive, right? If they can get the next game, force it to a game number 3, I'll be very interested to see how that goes. But that's one of those ones that's hard to kind of shake off. You're like, oh man, they got 4 ringouts and we got none.
Zip, nada. It's rough, and the amount of just projectiles Iron Giant can dish out on this patch is really insane. I mean, we saw how much area you can control with the bubble. There's so many the missile setups, like looking like Doom missiles from Marvel 3, man. It is rough. So it's just crazy because when you think about what you used to pair with Iron Giant, you used to pair like backline support characters. Well, Iron Giant brings so much projectiles to the team when Iron Giant transforms. It's kind of like, oh, well, I am the backline character and I'm also commanding a lot of space with these hitboxes, right?
Definitely.
So Team State Fair really showing how strong Iron Giant is. And they're also showing with the placements, back-to-back victories here. We'll see if they can get a three-peat here for this week.
All right.
Oh, but the Superman's
I was
out
going to
to play.
say, man, put on the cape, man, because Lord knows the way y'all were going down, you need to fly. So it's probably the best decision right there. But look at that, Charles, already not even 30 seconds into this thing. Ring out delivered by Team State Fair. They are absolutely on it right now. Man, this switch to Superman. And I do think, I mean, throughout all the characters I've seen Ross play, like, you know, from his Bugs, from his Black Adam, I think his Superman, to me, is his most impressive character. And, you know, Superman we've seen have a lot of success in these brackets. So hopefully this will be the one that can kind of maybe ignite the offense a little bit. But they are getting bounced back to Krypton on that one, man. Daggone.
No, and I mean, Superman is the original main here for Ross.
Yeah.
So, you know, a little bit of comfort could go a long way, but right now you're down 2 points, and right now just Iron Giant getting so much value out of these transformations from those bubbles. They're converting so well, and where they're getting these bubbles as well. Very impressive coming out from Team State Fair, and they're just able to capitalize so hard. We'll see if Team Aegon by AOC can bring it back here. It's going to take a lot.
Oh man, Iron Giant just on an like he's just, when he has you in your sights, he's on an absolute warpath. And they have yet to be able to initiate any ring outs just yet. Doing a good job. Yeah, obviously Iron Giant being so heavy and so bulky. Even Superman needs to be wary, especially when he's up in those skies.
Yeah, and especially when Iron Giant is able to pop bolts offensively, that's when it gets crazy, because now it's like, okay, this big body's coming after me.
Got him! Jeez! All right.
These trades are not it.
Yeah, this is tough, man. This is... And you kind of see Arya already just at such a disadvantage with that weight against this team, and she's in those triple digits. Yeah, man, the writing is on the wall, and it is being painted in blood at the moment.
Okay, there's the bubble. Gonna kind of capitalize off the situation, but yeah, any stray hit at this point on Arya is going to be it. And Team State Fair with a very dominating round one of winners, man. These sets are going by quick.
Kind of easy to see how these guys won last week, you know?
These are the reigning champs 2 weeks in a row, and they're definitely not being shy here in round one winners. They are going all out. You kind of have to. The talent level of these brackets here at Series E is going to be the highest level that you can get when it comes to MultiVersus, which is what makes it so exciting to watch every week. I mean, there's so much on the line, a lot of consistency. There's the points and the prize money on the line as well. So you know these teams are playing their hearts out.
Yeah, man, you mentioned, I mean, just, you know, 2 weeks in a row of just coming in and performing really well. Obviously, last week resulted in a win. Trying to do the same thing this week. Definitely a good round one for them to have it. So 2 round one winners out of the way. We'll have another one to bring you momentarily. But man, you know, something about this game is just always very exciting to watch, and that's why it's so awesome to be able to come in and do this live in the studio, because it's just like that much more thrilling and entertaining. So shout out to the players, definitely delivering already. Kind of swooping past this round one. They've been some quick ones, man. We've seen two 2-0s. The last one obviously being super convincing, but nonetheless, can't wait to see what the third round of winners round one will have in store.
Oh yeah, and again, like we've talked about, especially since that patch, we are seeing so much character diversity. When I tell you that almost every single top team had a Velma before the patch, you know, 2 weeks ago or so, I'm not kidding.
There was no cap in that rap.
There was a lot of Velmas going around, and she definitely seemed like the most flexible double team. And it's still cool to see a team like Team Vitamin Water still experiment with the Velma after the nerf as well. So really cool to still see Velma here and there, but we're seeing so many different characters here in this Series E. So that's really nice to see, because when we're talking about the skill level we're seeing here, all of these players will play whatever character it takes to get the W. So we're seeing a really nice diverse cut of characters here. So really nice to see. And I mean, we've seen aggressive rush down teams, right? We've seen more support oriented teams. We've seen like double tank teams, right? We've seen it all here at Series E.
It is no surprise on that when it comes to the character selections that we are seeing. So good stuff to start this thing off. You know, I always, every time I see, you know, good performances like that, you know, especially again, you see new characters into the mix, I always have to ask you, Chuck, what's your dream character?
Raven.
Yep. I'd like to see some good concept art for Raven. I think that'd be pretty sick. You know,
I think Raven's just a cool character.
I want Samurai Jack. I've said this many times. I think Samurai Jack would be perfect.
Ooh, okay.
Make him simple, okay? Don't have to Rick and Morty this guy, okay? All right, let's just keep
Marvin the Martian.
Yeah, exactly. Just swing a sword and mess people up. That's all I want.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's all I want. So we're gonna throw it over to Yeso, standing by in studio. Blue. I always mess this up, but not this time. Yeso, take it away, my guy.
Thanks, gents. Those are two honestly awesome answers to like a character that you would want in the game. I'm a huge Teen Titans fan. I think anybody from the cast there would be awesome. I think Beast Boy would honestly be a really cool pick, especially when you think about like what Pokemon Trainer does in Smash and bringing Beast Boy and that kind of element, that ability to switch forms and switch how you play, I think would be super cool. That I think would be an awesome pick. Samurai Jack is just, that's a banger throwback when you think about these kinds of properties, and grew up on that, you know, alongside all the Dragon Ball Z I was watching on, you know, Toonami back in the day, that and Yu Yu Hakusho. So Samurai Jack would be very cool. I think those are two awesome answers. I'd love to hear from the folks in chat what your picks would be and who you'd like to see in MultiVersus, because I think there's honestly a lot of great answers. Let's just look at what we've seen here so far. First, an update on a set that we didn't see on stream. This one, World's Greatest Detective and Pomchi. That's a combo over there. World's Greatest Detective going down 0-2 in the first round. Now, this is a team that I was just talking at the top of the show, right, about State Fair, their deep run last week. Of course, we know that World's Greatest Detective knocked them down to the losers bracket in the first round, and World's Greatest Detective went to Grands through winner's side and battled two very tight sets there with State Fair. I don't know that we've ever seen World's Greatest Detective lose a round one set here in the Series E this season. This is an incredibly rare result to see. So now, you know, hey, look, they'll have the opportunity to try and repeat what State Fair did a week ago, make that deep losers bracket run and see if they can make some magic happen. But this is a rare sight to see, and very interesting to see World's Greatest Detective going down to that lower side of the bracket so early on. Meanwhile, we've got State Fair starting off strong, as you know, you're kind of expecting them to, right? You're carrying the momentum from that win a week ago. You're feeling confident. You're kind of riding high from that performance, and they get a matchup with Aegon by AOC, who of course they beat in that losers bracket semifinal to keep that run going, and looked solid doing so. And now they get them in winners round one and take it in pretty solid fashion. They get the 2-0 win, and they'll be up against Pomchi in this next set, trying to jump their way right into the winners bracket final. So that'll be an interesting set to watch, and I'm looking forward to that. And that does set up a World's Greatest Detective versus Aegon by AOC matchup on the loser side of the bracket, and that's going to be a tough one for Aegon. You know, not going to speculate too far about the play so far today for World's Greatest Detective, but that's going to be a team that's going to be hungry, and, you know, they're not going to be happy with that 0-2 start to the day in that first set. So Aegon's got to be careful, because they may be running into a very tough matchup in that set. So keep an eye on that one. But looking forward to what's coming here in the next round. Winners semifinal is going to get very interesting, and then of course things get really fun when we jump into the best of fives, right? When we get into winners finals, when that loser side gets just a little bit deeper, and we get to those longer sets where teams start to wear each other down. It's going to be really fun. So looking forward to that. Do want to remind you folks, if you want to continue to support us here at Series E and everything we're doing at Esports Arena, I would remind you to head over to walmart.com/esports arena. You can pick up products from any of our partners. You can see some of them behind me here in the studio, but if you need anything from our friends at Intel, Mike and Ike, Razer, etc., you can find them all again over there at walmart.com/esports arena, and you will continue to help support everything we're doing here at Esports Arena, and especially Series E. So big thank you for your continued support. We're going to head to a break right now. When we come back, plenty more to watch. EE and Charles will have all the action for you when we return.
Tyson boneless buffalo bites have that tasty kick of flavor, so they're perfect for any get-together. If there are any left when your guests arrive. Tyson Anytizers Chicken. More kicks of flavor, more smiling snackers, more to love. Tyson.
Are you ready for it?
Yo, welcome back, welcome back. Appreciate you sitting through that brief intermission. We are actually gonna be jumping into round 2 of winners, which means we are headed to semis. I know the match coming up actually gonna feature the team 1 we just saw put on a dominant display in winners round 1, Team State Fair, and of course, won last week as well. So I really want to track and follow their bracket progression like by a lot since we didn't get to cast last week. So getting to see like, you know, this revived team in action, like really kind of finding their stride again. Very entertaining to watch because that round 1 was any indication. A lot of these teams that are going to have to go against them are going to have a tricky time.
Yeah, and it's kind of getting to the point where if you want to win one of these brackets, you probably have to beat Team State Fair, which means you have to have an answer to the Iron Giant expertise, which is Team State Fair. They just know how to play this character. They've been trying to make it work since previous patches and always been a threat, right? Has always been one of those teams that, you know, on their peak, I believe they've had a W at the very first couple. It was either the first one or the second one.
Yeah.
Team State Fair was able to win, but they weren't able to carry that consistency over. And they were always a top threat, but never really was able to get that first place W. But now they are returned so much stronger here after this patch and really have been leading the pack when it comes to this patch and just showing off all the things that Iron Giant can do on this patch. And it's been such a great job coming out from Team State Fair, especially paired with the Harley instead of the Velma.
Yep, 100%, man, 100%. So looking forward to seeing how that one's gonna develop for sure. You know, I really do think like, I don't know, like, because how many games have we, you know, casted and watched and stuff? It's not often it feels like the big body's the anchor of the team, man. You know what I'm saying? Man, Iron Giant is that dude right now. You know?
Yeah. I mean, there not too many fighting games. The big bodies are the meta characters, and Iron Giant's got to be one of the strongest big bodies I've seen throughout many fighting games.
Yep.
So huge shout outs to that. And even, I mean, I just got to shout out Player First as well, making a big body character in a platformer. And like, when we say Iron Giant is a big body, like, this character is huge.
Yes, 100%.
So it must have been definitely challenging making a character like this, but very interesting. Having the burst right with the bolts, I think, is a great mechanic, and just being able to also just transform and set up all the different projectiles as well. Looks like a really fun character to play.
Oh, 100%. And, you know, we were talking about you got to be able to deal with the Iron Giant. Well, why not bring out your own? That is what Team DSO has elected to do, obviously paired with Steven as well. So interested to see how that'll work. I mean, we've seen this Steven in action before. Definitely very unique kind of character with his ability to kind of actually create like true blocks and shields, which I think is really awesome for sure. Not going to catch too many people in this particular bracket, though, with any kind of matchup ignorance. I feel like they know exactly how they're going to have to take their approach to Steven. Doing a good job right now on their route to getting this first ring out, and they're going to find it right there. Steven getting bounced up and over. Good way to start.
Yeah, Steven, not the most popular character, but of course everyone at
Still
this
good,
caliber.
though.
Yeah, and this is more of the classic Iron Giant. Iron Giant with that support character, you're trying to enable Iron Giant, but it looks like Team State Fair, instead of just enabling with a support character, just either going to opt for the Harley, or we see this time the Shaggy coming out here for Team State Fair. And we've huge uptick in Shaggy game play.
Yeah, that's really big. Okay, gets the empowered off, so that sandwich going right to the face. Yeah, empowered Shaggy, man, it's great when you have like a teammate that can kind of give you a little bit of space to truly get that off 100%, because we know just how, like, we see how quickly he can kind of get those ring outs earlier when he is in that state. Oh my goodness, applying a lot of pressure right now. They're just getting sandwiched, no pun intended. I know he's holding one, but good grief. And then just into the mech to deliver chaos and carnage, keeping this stage on lock at the moment.
Yeah, and look at the damage. I mean, it's even on points, but right now, much larger numbers here on the red side. Blue team not getting hit up too much. These big combos, the stray sandwich is going to do the Iron Giant in. So now 3-1. Team State Fair keeping this lead.
Oof.
Oh man, twirl. And we've seen these Iron Giant combos they're so effective,
yes.
right? I mean, just you see the twirl there really in this game, anything that locks your opponent into an area, it's so easy to combo off of, right?
100%.
So a huge advantage being taken there by Team State Fair.
All right, well, there you have it. Beautifully done, Team State Fair. Picking up where they left off, man. Dominant performance. Look at 400 damage put on by that Iron Giant. Good grief.
Yeah, looking like closed alpha rain dog. That character used to get like minimum 400 damage, 400 to 500 per game. Back when the projectile perks were a little on the favor. Yeah.
Call it what it is.
Yeah, the Ignite and the Frost was crazy in closed alpha. But now in this meta, we're seeing such a different. It just feels like bruisers are kind of dominating this meta, which is so interesting. We've never really seen a meta like that, right, for MultiVersus. So really exciting time, and even seeing players switch into more of the Shaggy or Jake role as well, like these big bulky bruisers, and of course Iron Giant seeming to lead the pack in that sense of the bruisers that are very, very dominant.
It's really neat to be able to see different metas, you know what I'm saying, with different, classes of characters. Because I think that was the whole point of the game. Like, you give these guys, your assassin class, your mage, your bruisers, and, everybody kind of having their time to shine, and you just have to adapt accordingly. We're in a really, really fun time that is MultiVersus right now. Even getting that KO Iron Giant up there, landing on Steven's own shield, that's pretty entertaining right there. Like, all right, I'll just use this to kind of slow myself down while I send you out the ring. No problem. But yeah, this was like just super convincing. That big knee right there, reminiscent of what Falcon does in Smash, just taking care of business.
Just getting those KOs over and over and again, just being so bulky and bruisey. These bruisers are so bulky, it can be so hard to deal with. And you would think, especially Steven enabling Iron Giant, who's so strong.
Yep.
But it seems like the double bruiser aspect is like, oh, well, why not just add another? You know what I mean? You could just add another bruiser.
Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like, right?
Right, because you would think, especially with the Steven shield, the Iron Giant would live even longer, because now you're giving this huge defensive option that is only available if Steven is on your team, right? The only shield in the game that can just take hits, right? But you can command grab it and all that jazz. So very interesting mix of options, but just does not seem enough, and it feels like getting a little overwhelmed by the Shaggy and the Iron Giant combination. And I mean, Shaggy just supports, it has so much utility. You are that main type bruiser, but very all around type of character, right?
Yep.
You do have your combos, you have your loops that you can do with the down attack on the ground. But, so on top of having a very solid combo game, which is fantastic in singles, but in doubles you usually kind of want to just toss to your teammate and just prioritize all the stage control. Shaggy also brings a lot of control with the sandwiches, right? With especially the empowered sandwich, it just feels like a great setup tool, and this covers so much of the map.
Yeah, 100%. Well, let's see. Looks like a little bit of a change. Elected not to go for the giant on giant action. Going to switch things up and kind of pair Shaggy. Okay, so they mirrored him with the giant, didn't find success. So now they're going to mirror him with Shaggy and see if that'll give him a little bit more flexibility off the quickness just of a Shaggy paired with the Steven here. We'll see.
Yeah,
tried to power up, but got caught off. He did get the power off, but definitely going to eat one of those kung fu kicks.
Yeah, Shaggy notorious for being good against Giants because of that neutral, right? That multi-hit kick can just shred those bolts right off of Iron Giant, so it's going to be really good. Maybe that is the mentality, and maybe that is the reason why Meth and Clueless go with the Shaggy Iron Giant. You still got the Iron Giant on your team, and you got an Iron Giant counter on your team as well. Very versatile in that
That
sense.
huge, big-ass bubble. I don't think I've ever seen that before. That was really funny. Okay, let's see how big it can really get, but not doing too much. That's 2 ring outs again. We're just seeing there's something about this team state fair, man. They can really just get a lead, and it gets to the point where it doesn't feel like it becomes in any danger, right? They kind of put a stranglehold on the game right out of the jump.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's another team that can really contest team state fair. I mean, we know that World's Greatest Detectives did a great job against them last week. Still didn't end up on top. They were able to get second place, but I mean, World's Greatest Detectives are on loser side right now, so you're looking
round 1, like, geez.
Yeah, you're eating real good if you're a team at State Fair, because the competition compared to last week's performance from the World's Greatest Detectives, I mean, second to none right now, because very dominant round 1, and these are all top level teams.
Yes.
Don't get it twisted. I mean, very dominant performance, but these teams are all really, really talented. And
that juke was insane, bro. CRG, that was OD, and then coming through. Just drop all kinds of pressure right now, bro. They are just this is a well-oiled unit that we are witnessing on display at the moment. Shaggy in some trouble. Oh, Steven almost caught a stray right there.
Oh, and that sandwich is enough
That's
to get the
it,
KO.
wow.
And look at all these missiles that you have to avoid.
You're done.
Comboing off the missiles into the down air. Team State Fair looking even more dominant as they're going through the tournament. Winter semis, usually such close sets in winter semis.
Yeah.
But man, that They making it look too easy right now.
Dude, up the ante, up the score. Good grief, bro. Just insanity. This team right now is, woo, they have gotten hot, Charles, at the right time. Like, the season's coming to a close, some much needed points remaining on the table. Like, they are getting hot at the right time. And I'm very excited to see a potential collision course between this Team State Fair right now and a potential Team Vitamin Water if they can get through their winter semis and have them meet in a best-of-5 for a winners final. I think that would be insane, but obviously not written in stone right now. But if whoever's going up against Team State Fair, I got one word for you: beware.
Yeah, this team is looking so powerful. And again, we usually don't see this much of dominating sets, even in round 1 winners. And then on top of that, we're talking winners semis.
Yeah.
We usually see some very competitive sets. And even if it does end up 2-0, it's usually pretty close.
Sandwich KO, it was like, bro, what?
Nothing stale about that sandwich.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man.
That's fresh out the fridge, man.
You got that from Panera? Like that? Go!
Right out the oven.
That was crazy. Well, wow, what a winter semis. I mean, we knew this week would be absolutely bonkers, especially like off the results that we saw last week, but did not expect to just see so many. It just seems like there's just kind of a trend of just dominant performances that we've seen everything. And again, no scrub teams on this bracket. There's a lot of world-class talent that we have, but I don't know, some of them just firing on cylinders a little hotter than others right now.
Yeah, and it's just such a dominant performance. I don't think I've seen a performance like that in a winter semi. So shout outs to Team State Fair. They are keeping the momentum they got from the last 2 weeks, and they are also adapting to, it feels like Meth is that pivot player, right? So they're able to kind of counterpick different team comps, and then Clueless just staying with that Iron Giant.
Yes.
Seems like the base formula for this team, and I like that. I like having that one flex player, and then you have, the one player that's really committed to their character. And like I said, even before this uptick in the Iron Giant, this team was already playing Iron Giant. So quite the blessing from the passion. They're taking it to the moon, if you will. And they're definitely going to be going to winners finals. So we'll see which team is going to contest them on the winner's side here.
Very eager to see, very eager to see that. I mean, obviously mentioned Team Vitamin Water. I think that'd be a really fun clash. But, despite I love to see who Vitamin Water's opponents are, but no matter whom kind of comes out on that side, it's going to be absolutely insane. So hope you guys are enjoying this Series E action for MultiVersus, our friends at Esports Arena, bringing this action to you. And no surprise it should be to anyone to see it's the Moonlit Knights out there on the other side of the bracket. Winner of this will go to winter semis to face that Team State Fair team that has been just dominating. So definitely be another big test right here for Team Vitamin Water. We know the Moonlit Knights, they live up to their name, right? These guys are lit, okay? They are an explosive team that bring the fight to anybody, can threaten any kind of bracket. And let's see what they've got in winter semis.
Now, one thing about these Velma nerfs that make me a little sad is I play Velma, so it definitely, yeah, of course I do. But so that was a little hit in terms of gameplay. But my favorite thing about the Velma nerf is the fact that we get to see the Broski Shaggy. This Shaggy has been very impressive, very fun to watch.
Insanity.
Yeah, and it's just really fun to see Broski be able to enable his own offense with a character like Shaggy. As I say that, just gets batted up by Mirror Man, and Team Vitamin Water is not playing around. They're getting 2 points right off the rip.
Hey, Broski and Oops Tier, man, they have definitely been the hot kids in bracket for sure. Like, that doesn't always translate to winning, man, but they've definitely been, the entertainment aspect has been certainly something that we've definitely appreciated from them. So you already know, man, the old guard of Team Vitamin Water, like, how many times we've won Series E? Just another day at the office, baby. We're going to have to bring something more than just hype to get through us. I'm trying to put him on notice right there. Oh, nice. I like that from Velma. Koslik's not backing down from Superman, trying to apply a lot of pressure and actually going to end up evening things out. These 2 ring outs apiece right now. Great action unfolding.
Ooh, there's the up rocket. Not going to get followed up here, but now Oops are taking a bunch of damage. Look at all this control, making it very clear that they're not going to let you recover high up and over. Just got to get through all of these projectiles, finally piercing through, but look at this. Team Vitamin Water is able to rack up so much damage off of these interactions, man, and that's going to be another point on the board.
Yeah, that safe was actually godlike to kind of push back some of the pressure they were applying, and then getting the Acme rocket to put themselves up 1 ring out. This could be disastrous if Shaggy gets clipped by 1 big hit. That'll basically wrap this one up. Let's see, trying to power up. Oh, but gets caught. You know what? I get it, trying to power up. You need that to kind of maybe help initiate that comeback. But you know for a second, as soon as he went for that, my man Mirror Man was like, oh, time to strike. And he did just that.
Yep, Mirror Man with the suit and tie going straight to work here. And of course, Caustic going back to the Velma, right? And I mean, we've seen Caustics play many different characters. I think overall, Caustics has found the most success on Velma throughout this Series E. And it's crazy that Caustics is still sticking with it. I mean, we've seen everyone else switch. Yeah, dang.
I'll tell you first, Jim.
Put the light bulb back on.
Yeah, I'm liking the Velma, man. Adapt through the changes, and you can definitely, you really kind of look, and you can definitely tell like the familiarity is there, the comfort is there, and not to mention Mirror Man is just so good at complimenting. Like they compliment each other so well. It's a great kill right there from Oops Tier, but you know, really almost too little, too late in some of these exchanges. Right, they just got off to such a hot start. It was really going to take a lot to swing things back in their favor, despite right there able to knock it up 2 ring outs apiece. And I did like right there we saw with Superman. He had to dodge a lot of projectiles to get back to the stage. That was really good.
Yeah,
but this right here, this anvil, like push it back, get up off me. Yeah. Coming through, that right there swung the game back in their favor because they alleviated that pressure, got the kill immediately off the Acme Rocket, and they didn't look back.
Because, I mean, Team Vitamin Water had control for so long, and they did such a good job of covering the Moonlit Knights, trying to usually in MultiVersus, you can go up and over your opponent and then try to get some dare pressure or anything like that, get that reversal, right? But, I mean, Team Vitamin Water was making it very clear through their positioning that they weren't going to let that happen. They racked up so much damage from that, and then finally that up Acme Rocket. We always talk about how strong that move is, especially when you can use it offensively instead of defensively, and when you had that amount of stage control that Team Vitamin Water had, obviously that's just going to be there when you need it for the KO. Great job coming out from Team Vitamin Water. And yeah, I mean, when you look at Velma, even just the nurse in general, like sure, you got to be a little bit more committed positioning-wise, but you know, Velma still has fantastic moves. So obviously not the strongest character or not as strong as she used to be, but still, I think very usable.
No, 100%. I think that, oh wow, I like the, oh no, oh man. So like he ran out of resources, wasn't able to get back to the wall to refresh, and then because he was just so low anyway, Kostelik's smart enough to take full advantage of that. Velma can definitely put you down in the dirt. Yeah. And what started off what looked like it was going to be a strong lead for Moonlit Knights actually finds themselves in a deficit. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about, I mean, even if your teammate does get 2v1 edge guarded, as long as you can return the favor on the way back, right? As you can get a trade 1-for-1, that's usually the scenario. Ooh, wow, playing very close to the sandwich. Great confidence coming out from Mirror Man. Goes for the up rocket, covering so much area, and look at that. There's that Nerf Megaphone still putting in work, covering that lower area, but Caustic just has to be a little bit more committed in terms of spacing. But the punch connects, but Mirror Man goes up and over.
The reversals, Kostelik's being a one-man demolition crew, the way he has been able to get these ring outs, my goodness, and that's it. Forget about it. You'll be lucky if that match went a minute. You go from starting it out looking like you're getting that quick and early ring out on my man Mirror Man to just losing like, what, 4-1 within the span of a minute. Wow.
Yeah, and
crazy turnaround.
Honestly, the MVP of both those games was Caustic.
Caustic was insane.
Had so much punish, like just great punish game, and was able to trade so many KOs back to back. It definitely was clear that Oops Tier and Broski really honing in on Mirror Man, trying to shut down Mirror Man, but Caustic was the one that was able to come by and get the punish afterwards, just playing so well.
Like how the fact that this goes awry so quickly is insane. Okay, so you see the overextension from Mirror Man, and then good turnaround gets that, but then Shaggy doing too much and Velma doing everything to make sure that they actually ended up in the lead. That right there, and then this reversal too, that was crazy. Let me just slide through your soups and send you back down.
Yeah, that's a very risky play to go for against Superman. Playing around that area,
he loves Superman that. He wants you off the stage.
Yeah, Superman is infamous for just around that wall area, getting that up special and tossing you back down or tossing you off the stage. Very strong position for Superman to be in, but Caustic had the confidence and executed perfectly.
Man, great sets. And again, Charles, that theme of just like, you know, the teams who are winning, they're doing it in dominant fashion, right?
Yeah.
Now, both teams that have done that have just made it to winners finals, right? So you got Team State Fair, you got Team Vitamin Water. Both have gotten to this point through dominant victories. I don't know, is it going to be a one-sided battle in winners finals? It is best of 5, where we're going to have finally like a little bit of a tug and pull right now, and maybe we actually go to like a game 4, a game 5, something crazy like that. I can't imagine anyone getting the 3-0 here. I don't see that.
Both teams are playing so clean
just
right
with
now.
how good they're playing.
I feel like it would be near impossible, but who knows? Maybe one team's just hotter than the other coming into this winners final. I definitely want to get into it because, man, both these teams have been so fun to watch, and we usually don't get winner semis that dominant. And then on top of that, back-to-back,
yes,
crazy.
Yeah, I do like Team State Fair maybe slightly more, just because I feel like that Iron Giant effect is just so impactful. Like, I really feel like the way Clueless, I think, has been piloting his Iron Giant has just been insanity. So I feel like that gives them a little bit of an edge.
Yeah, for sure. And Velma classically has been a character that can do well against Iron Giant, but now Velma's going to have to get a little closer to Iron Giant, which could mean not good things there.
Disaster.
Right, and I even think when Iron Giant transforms, I think Iron Giant has better projectiles than Velma. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
It comes with the transformation, so it's not going to be consistent, but being able to command the projectile presence when transforming against a character like Velma, who usually dominates that category, right? So we'll see how it goes. Maybe the Iron Giant Velma matchup not as bad as it used to be, but who knows? It's really fun to see Caustic still play this character, even though the character is nerfed, just to see how far the character can go. And even to the point where we could see Velma still winning this tournament, even after the nerfs. So really interesting timelines we got going on multiple of these teams here.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts, no doubt about that. So that is going to be our winners finals. We'll get that started relatively soon, no doubt about that. But yeah, just another good week of good MultiVersus action for Series E. And, you know, I know a lot of people, like especially on Twitter, you know, always super interested. When's the next big MultiVersus thing? And I always tell people, like, yo, check out Series E. It's pretty sick. And the reason it is for crazy games like this that we have been getting treated to. So winners finals is going to have to wait a little bit because we're going to jump into this losers quarters match. Team Mike and Ike back on the screen against Team DSO. Oh my God! Well, on the screen momentarily because my goodness, that Jake got wrecked.
Yeah, and right there, the setup for Jake trying to take out Iron Giant as soon as possible, but Iron Giant got the bolts right into the reversal, but no. Wow, just instantly getting retaliated on. Great stuff coming out from Shaggy. That uppercut going to do the trick here. We talked about Shaggy being that counter, and I mean, honestly, why we're probably seeing an uptick of Shaggy because we're seeing the uptick of the Iron Giant, right?
Yep. Always felt like Shaggy was such a good character to begin with, but yes, definitely even more of a place, like maybe in this current meta, as you said, Charles, because of Iron Giant. You see Jake right there trying to turn him into combo food. Oh, forget about trying. He's doing just that. Some good responses for sure. So who's going to get this next ring out? They are definitely duking it up.
Okay, here comes the bubble. And of course, the Shaggy neutral is going to be good against the Steven bubble too. Any multi-hit is going to do wonders here. Wow. And the empowered uppercut. I don't care how heavy you are or large you are, Iron Giant even getting taken to the skies there.
There it is. Beautifully played right there. Oh, tried to go for a big hit. No, going to be able to survive. Nice job. Maybe not on that one. Yeah, good stuff. Steven with the mean conversions, taking a swing at Shaggy, just elect to put some space between them. Power up a little bit while Jake is taking care of Iron Giant. Nice, putting themselves in a really strong position. And they're going to get it. That was beautifully played. The smart thing to just disengage, power up while you have Jake over there keeping Iron Giant on lock and key. Beautifully played. Team Mike and I going to get that first game.
Yeah, that was just so well played. That is a standard game of really taking out the bolts from the equation. I think Martins did an incredible job of shredding the bolts in there, and again, really taking advantage of the empowered uppercut. We saw Iron Giant die at around like low 100%, so much time in that game, and that is very low for Iron Giant. Usually we see Iron Giant hovering around that 140, 150 mark, but they were able to get the job done with the power that comes with this team being the Jake and the Shaggy.
Ooh, that was such a quick early kill, but to their credit, we did point out, Charles, the retaliation didn't take too long to get there. With 1 and 2, oh no, jumped the gun. I jumped the gun. There it is. 1 and 2, get rid of this Iron Giant. There was the 2 right there. So good stuff to Jake. Again, very instrumental in helping get this team that first win. I'm telling you, like Jake's ability, just go ahead. And that Iron Giant, as good as the character is, like don't forget, still a big body, still combo food. They're going to be able to exploit and take care of that and push that to their advantage.
Yeah, another thing about Jake as well, if the bolts are on, the side air can come out. It's only going to take out one bolt, but it is a very long-range move, right? Yep. And look at this. Even Martoon's playing wonderful in that situation, getting out of there. That was a 2v1, was able to go up and over and just surviving and holding on to that KO there, not letting the opposing team have it. And again, the empowered uppercut, stacking the knockback with the up air from Jake. So well coordinated coming out from Team Mike and Ike.
What I love most about that finishing sequence is the fact that after he got the empowered, like Steven came back, but he immediately just went past Steven and just focused on the fact that Jake was about to pop out Iron Giant. How can I best convert off of this combination of the sandwich, an up special, and that is going to result in the W. Really, really smart stuff. And really, like, Steven just kind of left in the dark there, like, oh, okay. Like, I'm just not going to be able to participate in this finishing sequence. And look at that, so smart. Put up the wall there to kind of shield Shaggy to help him kind of get that empowered off the bat. Really good stuff.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Steven. You do have that lack of mobility, but what covers up for it is the fact that you can shield your teammate from anywhere, right? Yeah. So not having enough shield charges, and again, Shaggy just going to be such any good multi-hit. Oh, the high kick. Almost taking out Giant there already. Giant sitting at 114%. Oh, he's taking so much damage, and the red team looking so healthy.
Oh, 100%.
They're going to get some of these straight hits. Wow, look at those big sweeping attacks, especially that up attack coming out from Jake.
Such a big attention to putting the pressure on Iron Giant, trying to bully him a little bit. So they're going to get the mech going on there just to alleviate some pressure, give himself some time to reestablish. That's going to be a ring out. Yes, sir.
But not getting any momentum off that transformation. That was the turning point that Team DSO kind of needed, right?
Yeah,
set up the
100%.
missiles, get the bubbles going, and try to turn it around with these really strong projectiles. Oh, wait a minute. Iron Giant trying to get the reversal. But look at that. Instantly, the bolt's already shredded.
Oh, good stuff, Steven. Okay, getting that high clap. He'll do it. Oh, but goes down immediately. Not able to even things up long enough to make a difference.
Yeah, that tipper side air coming out from Jake's is so powerful.
It's nuts.
And Jake just having that unique attribute of the longer you charge Jake's move, the longer range it becomes, right? He's got those stretchy arms, so going to come in clutch here when you want to just play that spacing game.
Yeah, Jake does a really good job at piloting his Jake. Good on the spacing too, playing around both characters so well. The shield really not even making that much of a difference. One more point to go for this red team to get that 2-0 sweep. You gotta imagine they are definitely thinking we're wrapping this up right now. Gonna take a big rally from the blue team. Ooh. Okay, that'll certainly help. That's big.
You gotta survive here if you're Shaggy, and Shaggy will do just that. Martoon's playing it really well, not taking too much damage, and even racking up some of its own. Okay, there's the bubble gonna lock down. Where are these missiles and projectiles here? This is the big value, but it doesn't even matter.
Bro, the Sair angle downward, setting him up, that was insane. Wow, great play from Jake. That's how you close out a game.
Yeah, amazing stuff coming out here from Jake. The Jake-Shaggy combination from Team Mike and Ike prevailing. We saw it in winners round 1, and we're seeing it prevail through the losers bracket, now advancing to losers semis.
Yep, good stuff. Getting there with authority at that. Again, you know, Iron Giant definitely seen it as one of those big time characters, but at the same time, like, the right team can just see him as a lot of free damage, and I think that is why why Team Mike and Ike was just so successful in the play. You know, it is nice to see him paired with like a unique character in Steven, but you know, uniqueness is not enough to necessarily win yet the game, as kind of displayed here. And again, just really, Charles, just convincing wins that they're putting together here.
Yeah, I think my only issue with this team is Steven. The bubble kind of gets bodied by multi-hits, and also Iron Giant gets bodied by multi-hits. So you're supporting this character, Iron Giant, with another character that loses to the same thing. Right. So one Shaggy pick could just completely devastate the team, which I think this Shaggy pick, Martin's played the Shaggy very well and just disabled so many things. Disabled the shield.
Ooh, wow. Caught him right there, right in the danger zone, angling it all the way down. That's what I thought was just really cool. Just good anticipation on his part too. Like, I think he's going to take a couple steps forward. Those will be his last steps. 2-0 in losers quarters, and as you said, they advanced to losers semis. Beautiful.
Getting hit in the noggin straight from above, it just hurts. And there is a tipper on that side air coming out from Jake too, so you can definitely hear it in the game audio. A lot of tipper audio was in that match, so very great spacing coming out from Team Mike and Ike. And really, again, the Shaggy just shredding through so many of the different bolts, and the bubble shield just doing a really great job and very commanding. I mean, so many commanding sets I feel like has happened I can't wait to get into the winners finals because it really feels like there's so many different directions these teams are going. But definitely want to hear more coming from Yeso over in the blue room.
All right, folks, we're close to locking in our entire top 4. Of course, winners finals set after a couple of pretty commanding victories from both Vitamin Water and State Fair in the winners side semifinals. And then, of course, we just saw Mike and Ike taking a strong win there over Pomchi and getting their spot set in losers side semifinals. The only one left to decide is whether Moonlit Knights or Aegon by AOC will complete that top 4. The winner of that, of course, facing off against Mike and Ike. And it's crazy to see that we could possibly have, I believe for the first time this season, our entire top 4 could be all of the partner teams if Aegon can take down Moonlit Knights. It's going to be a tough test, right? Moonlit Knights have been a very strong team since their first invite here to Series E, though they have had some stumbles as of late over these last few weeks, and Aegon by AOC has been steadily improving as of late. So Aegon has an opportunity there, but it's going to be a tough test. That's not going to be an easy set to win by any stretch. But if we get that top 4 of entirely partnered squads, would be for the first time this season, and it would be very impressive to see. So, you know, I remain as impartial as I can, and I'm just rooting for good sets, but part of me wants to see Aegon get it done, wants to see that top 4 of all of the partnered squads. I'm very much looking forward to winners finals, a best of 5 between our defending champions in State Fair from a week ago against our best team in the season so far, and of course the best team in 2023, Team Vitamin Water, as dominant as they have been since the turn of the new year. That's going to be a very fun set, and that's one that, you know, hey, I don't know that I'd mind seeing a rematch of that, regardless of who the winner is in winners finals in Grants, right? Let's see these teams duking out a few more times. I am certainly here for it, but we'll have to see how things shake out on that front. Just for fun, I'm going to throw out some predictions here. Let's see what you guys think in Twitch chat. Let me know what your thoughts are. In that winners final set, I'm going to take it 3-1 for Vitamin Water, but I think State Fair can come back from the loser side and force a reset in Grands. I'm looking forward to getting a rematch there, but Vitamin Water seems to be kind of running, clicking on all cylinders right now, and it's hard to pick against them when they're playing that way. Typically, if Vitamin Water is going to get caught, it typically happens earlier in the bracket, but if they're getting into winners finals and having strong performances going up to them, it's so hard to stop them. And even with State Fair coming off of their strong showing a week ago and the win and all the momentum that they're carrying and the good performances they've had so far today, I just got to stick here with Vitamin Water, and I'm going to take them in winners finals, but we'll see how things shake up. But keep an eye. We'll, of course, update you when we have a result from that Aegon by AOC and Moonlit Night set, because that is going to decide a lot here on that loser side of the bracket, so keep an eye out for that one. But Mike and Ike, they're into top 4, State Fair and Vitamin Water as well, and looking forward to seeing how things shake out on that front. Right now, though, we're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we're getting close to the finish here, folks. Another Series E MultiVersus wraps up in a little while. We'll have more action when we come back.
All right, Series E MultiVersus is back here. We are live in the ESA studio, EE and Charles, and Winners Finals is finally about to get underway. Two of the top teams that have just been, one, just bulldozing their way to this point, and two, have really accumulated some impressive wins. You got Team State Fair, who won last week in a really convincing fashion for them to come back from losers and win twice at Grand Finals against World's Greatest Detectives. Not an easy task by any means. And of course, Team Vitamin Water, who have accumulated just so many wins, have gone on such long streaks of just winning, getting back to this position where they're one step closer to getting another win, which I'm sure they're eager to do. Something's got to give, though, man. Something's got to give. Like I said before we even went to break, I don't anticipate this being a 3-0. I think this one's going to go the distance.
Yeah, and Team Vitamin Water, the only team to stick it out with the Velma. So we'll see if the Velma copium is it copium or is it hopium or well, what is it? What is it?
I think it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, right?
Okay.
It's like, all right, it's not that bad. I'm hoping I can make it work. To their credit, they're in Winners Finals, so they're doing something right. Like this
very dominant
combination,
fashion.
yeah, this combination is definitely doing something right. So I'm very, very excited to see how they'll put this together and how they will indeed go up against what's really just essentially become this Iron Giant menace that is on Team State Fair.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter what meth goes with Clueless being that anchor of the Iron Giant no matter what. And this was even before the patch, before Iron Giant kind of had an uptick in play.
Yeah.
So we'll see what this team does here against Team Vitamin Water. We've seen Meth go with the Harley and the Shaggy today, and it looks like we're going to go going with the Shaggy here against Team Vitamin Water. Okay, looks like we are going to start things off a little bit different of a starting stage here. We got Cromulus here. So we're going to have these walls that can break on the side here. But while they're up, you can get some pretty crazy wall bounce combos. We'll see if any team takes advantage of that. Some teams opt to just break the walls on the side immediately.
Yeah, 100%. Cromulus, definitely a nice little start stage. A little bit different, too, as you said, than what we've seen in the past couple of sets. So a little variety. I'm not mad at that, but you can see variety, but the consistency for this Team Vitamin Water, they are trying to actually get that first ring out quick, fast, and in a hurry. Get some nice setups right now. Iron Giant really just eating a lot of punishment from Bugs. You can see all of that percentage put on immediately.
Yeah, remember when we talked about it earlier, how Shaggy's really strong against bolts? Well, guess who else has that multi-hit move? It's going to be Bugs spinning on top of the Iron Giant. Going to do so much damage and just shred all of those bolts.
100%. For this first ring out, trying to get the setup. Oh, nice on the, oh my goodness, the follow-up. He said, screw it, I'll do it myself. Wow. Mirror Man putting his stamp right there on that first KO. Nicely done.
Okay, Velma trying to get the up attack here. Great damage onto the Shaggy with the up rocket. Looking for something in the box. Mirror Man doing a great job. And Caustics as well, holding it down, not taking too much damage here. And the Iron Giant, 164%. Cromulon going to be such a huge stage to work with.
I was going to say, that's definitely giving him just like an advantage to keep surviving at this insane percentage. And that's actually going to allow them a little bit of room to tie things up. Oh, watch out now. How do we get out of this? Nice. Caustics with the great assistance to help Mirror Man out of a little bit of a tricky predicament. Obviously, him being in those triple digits, you don't want to mess around with Giant too much. Goes for a big catch, no one home. Shaggy going super low to get back. Oh, actually interrupting the Acme rocket attempt. So Mirror Man going to get another shot at it.
Okay, this Call Me Once coming in as well. Very strong perk against this team, being the Velma and the Bugs here. So we even got all of the meta perks still coming aligned here, but it is 3 points to 1. And I mean, a team as dominant as Team State Fair, we've seen them in the earlier parts of this bracket. I mean, this is a very commanding lead. See if they can bounce back. Bugs is sitting at 152% right now. Mirror Man feeling untouchable.
Yeah, Mirror Man, I mean, he has definitely been like kind of the catalyst to a lot of this. He has just been an absolute menace. Trading right there with Shaggy, but still, they're only one ring out away. That Acme rocket is going to do it. Yes, Iron Giant unable to avoid it. Such a big target and going to be costly in that first opening game. Team Vitamin Water, solid win to open up Winners Finals.
I'm telling you, man, even if you take out Mirror Man, you got to watch out for that respawn up rocket.
And you see that high damage put on there, 471. That is all courtesy of just putting on so much of that on this Iron Giant, which again, as you said, Charles, certainly can live for a while, but yeah, there is a tax to be paid on that.
Yeah, and the thing is, even if you do get to live a long time, if every time Mirror Man touches you with a neutral air and you take in like 50 plus damage. Well, I mean, the percentage is high, but how hard was it to get that percentage in the first place?
Great save right here.
And again, those multi-hit nairs, like Bugs, like Shaggy, going to be so effective versus the bolts, and probably the most important move for Iron Giant. Without the bolts, Iron Giant would not be able to compete in this game whatsoever.
I would absolutely agree with that. Like, just, you know, it's essentially just a burst option for offense and defense. So really good to have. But I mean, it was pretty much irrelevant in this game. Like, you know what I'm saying? The way they kind of were just able to dismantle. And even if Iron Giant, like, while he's taking a lot of percent right there, and you see the Acme Rocket being the finishing blow, like, still on the other side, Shaggy has to worry about being in jeopardy as well, too. So, like, a lot of those KOs kind of being spread out, and good stuff on Team Vitamin Water handling game one effectively.
With the Velma. And I mean, it looks
She's
like,
back.
I don't know, I guess it's not Copium. I guess Vitamin Water might know a thing or two about this game, and Costa's coming out, rocking the Velma, being like, yo, even with the nerfs, this character is still strong, this character is still flexible. You gotta play a little closer, and even, I mean, shout out to Caustic's adapting around the nerfs, right?
Yep.
Okay, my character got hit. How do I compensate for these nerfs? What kind of play styles do I have to play? And honestly, Caustic's has been playing so damn well this entire tournament, really backing up Mirror Man in so many situations that either have Mirror Man get back on the stage, or they just work together and they're able to trade KOs very efficiently. And it's not even stopping here at Winners Finals. Game one was pretty convincing. I don't think the entire set will be like a 3-0 convincing, but I mean, Vitamin Water definitely getting a lot of momentum from that game one.
I would absolutely agree with that. Like, that's the way to start. Oh, look at this. Okay, so we're seeing a character swap. The Harley gonna come out this time. So maybe thinking, okay, Shaggy, perhaps not the character to help get this job done. We're gonna bring out the Harley. We've seen this before. See if they can have the same level of success. One thing about this team, though, Meth, again, we know, has no problem swapping those characters, but it's always gonna be Clueless. He's just an Iron Giant player through and through.
Right, and I like this switch. I think both Shaggy and Harley can kind of close in on some of these backline characters, whether it be Velma or Bugs throwing the projectiles in the back. The great thing about this comp is you can switch them back. But oh my goodness, the abuse right now.
And then after all that too, it's Harley who ends up getting KO'd first. Like, first ring out going the way of her. Put that in the replay package immediately.
Intentional?
Like, it had to be, right? Like a footstool in Smash, man. You know what it is.
That was insane. And we talked about, hey, maybe there won't be a dominant performance, but right now, one thing Team Vitamin Water showing a weakness for Iron Giant, he's very tall, so it's very hard for him to avoid all the projectiles coming through here. And I'm telling you right now, Mirror Man and Caustic's throwing everything but the kitchen sink.
I'm telling you, it's interesting too. It seems like where a lot of teams that they fought to get here through Winners Round 1 as well as Winners Semis, they struggled with dealing with Iron Giant, right? That was the key to victory a lot of times for Team State Fair. Team Vitamin Water, they seem incredibly at ease fighting and comboing this character to oblivion, as demonstrated perfectly there by Mirror Man. Another great pickup and another dominant performance on its way in this second game.
You know, Mirror Man right now just showing off, oh, hey, I can combo Iron Giant. Let me do a little bit of twirling, and just like that, 4-1. Mirror Man even getting a KO on Clueless, sub 100%. Iron Giant getting KO'd in the double digits, unheard of.
That is not something that you see very often. The fact, though, obviously being able to catch him so close to that blast zone, and of course having that strong knockback with the up air, really gonna help Bugs out. Bugs just like, I mean, Bugs just knows, Bugs is a combo character, straight. I don't know what that made, replace Mage with combo, okay? That's all I got to say about my man Bugs Bunny, okay? Because he was absolutely going off this game, my lord.
Yeah, so much. And here is, I think, the clip into the down rocket.
Insane.
Oh man, since the KBI was going out there because Clueless wanted KBI out, just still getting caught by that, so you're not going to end up on stage, and you're at such a high percent, you were probably going to get taken off the top anyway. So incredible stuff coming out from Team Vitamin Water, and there needs to be some kind of pivot because right now, Team State Fair not having a single answer to the Bugs Velma, the Evo, the throwback.
That was so nasty.
Oh my goodness.
And he had the ears spinning because he just exhausted the rocket, so he knew exactly what he was doing, putting him in a very precarious situation that he could not get out of. and then forget about it, man. Harley over on the other side trying to mess with Velma. Don't mess with Miss Dinkley over there. Don't do it. Don't do it to yourself.
You don't, man. And it's just crazy. This team has been so strong, even since, closed beta, closed alpha, right? This team has been very, very strong. Maybe not closed alpha, but nonetheless, this team has been strong ever since Evo. There's so much Bugs and Velma teams at Evo Top 8, and still very relevant even after the nerf. It's really fun to see Caustic still show what this character can do, even though everyone else has kind of abandoned ship.
It's so funny that they just were like they didn't find their other team comps as effective, and we're just like, let's just try and make it work. Like, it's crazy to see 1 week, like 2 weeks ago actually, after that patch had come out, no Velmas in bracket, no
Zero.
Velmas. It's like the dedicated mains to Velma abandoned this character. Fast forward 2 weeks later, you got Kosalix, you got Mirror Man, Bugs, Velma, the OG classic combination, still doing work, up 2 games to none in dominant fashion in Winners Finals. I mean, wow. Who the hell saw that coming?
They definitely proved us wrong.
Yeah.
We're like, both of these teams are dominating throughout winners bracket. There's no way it's going to be like a dominating 3-0, but Team Vitamin Water still showing off. And one of the things that is great about this team comp, even though Velma did get nerfed on the megaphone for how, the reach of it, it's still gonna shred bolts. You just gotta get close enough. So both of these characters can destroy the bolts on Iron Giant here, and it is very clear that Team Vitamin Water is prepared for the Iron Giant because so many other teams got just ran over from this Team State Fair that is a very Iron Giant focused team comp. But yeah, I mean, Team Vitamin Water having the answers.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's, they tried, the Iron Giant Shaggy wasn't successful, went with the Harley. I mean, could argue that was even worse, but sticking with the Harley again, I mean, there's only so many options you have, right? It just becomes, really what you're trying to do is just hope that Iron Giant, which has, kind of been your ace in the hole for a lot of these matches that you've had, does not become the liability pick, right?
Yeah. And I mean, that's the tough part. I mean, this Team State Fair, has always been dealing with this because, Clueless is a very dedicated main to the Iron Giant.
Yep.
So even when things were, not so hot for Iron Giant before this patch, they would still rock with it.
Oh,
and
of course.
It was very impressive to see how far they go. But even now, Iron Giant on probably one of the best patches for Iron Giant right now, but still having trouble against this nerfed Velma.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, before that victory that they got last week, it had been a couple months since they had tasted victory. I think they actually won the first one to open up the season, if I'm not mistaken, right? So they had been far removed from a win. Got back into the winner's circle last week, but right now, man, they have just been getting crushed these first 2 games. A little closer on this one, but Iron Giant again, just the target for like the bulk of this assault. Understandably so too.
Okay, gonna try to combo get Velma off the top here. Not gonna work out. Okay, off the bubble there. Catching Mirror Man, still not gonna be able to get a point on the board, but now 2 points to 0. Iron Giant was at very, very high percents, but now 2 points to 1 here. A lot closer in terms of pacing for the other games here.
Definitely would agree. Oh, okay. Iron Giant gotta scrap his way back.
Okay, has the bolts online here. They're about to run out, and this is going to be the big opening for the blue team. Now they can go ahead and combo Iron Giant very hard. The safe is also set up here, so you see blue team kind of closing and getting a little bit more aggressive, but it is the red team trying to ladder Velma off the top here. Mirror Man coming in for the assist.
Ooh, nice. Good avoidance on there. Harley just narrowly surviving. In danger. You don't want to have this KO happen. 3-1, not the odds you want to be facing right now.
Okay, but here comes the missiles, and look at the avoidance there.
It didn't even matter. It
playing around it so well, yeah.
Sheesh. Oh my goodness. There's just so much to dodge, bro. Like, that is one thing that they are doing such a good job, right? The pressure seemingly just so overwhelming from both Velma and Bugs. I mean, that has just been clearly the difference maker for this team, and they're in such a good position. One solid hit on Giant will do it, and they can afford to let a couple ringouts come their way. Even if there's a KO right now on Bugs, they're still in an obvious advantage, just given what Iron Giant has to avoid and deal with at 149, 161, one done. One and done. See you later. 3-0 from Team Vitamin Water. I got to eat my words. I said, Charles, I thought this was going to go to distance, go to Game 5. Team Vitamin Water said, nah, bruh, just go ahead and sip on that vitamin water. You ain't going to be here long.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man, because I thought the exact same thing. Caustic's showing off all the different ways that you can play Velma right there at the end. One thing that didn't get nerfed about the Megaphone range is when it is hit on an ally, right?
Yeah.
So that is the main, and that was the last KO.
That was it.
Incredible stuff coming out from Caustic's, really showing. And look at this, avoiding those missiles too. We've seen so many teams fall to the double rep of those triple missiles, right? And we've seen Team State Fair take huge advantage of that, get so many crazy 2v1 or 2v2 edge guards off of it. But Team Vitamin Water, there were so many things that they just avoided. They played around bolts really well, they played around the missiles really well, and they barely got caught in bubbles. They know how to play around Iron Giant even at his strongest.
It's so crazy. Like, there are so many different layers to how, like, these team comps can unfold. Like, we're looking right here at Team State Fair, a team that dominated their first two rounds, right? Round 1 and then semis. Like, convincing. Like, they were getting 4 KOs to none in one case. You know what I'm saying? Here, though, they had no answers for Team Vitamin Water. The OG combination. How long is Bugs and Velma gonna find a place in any meta, bro? It doesn't matter. You can try and nerf them to oblivion. They always bounce back, bro. And this team, as resilient and dominant as they come, congratulations, Team Vitamin Water, taking their place in Grand Finals and another step closer to another victory here in Series E.
Yes.
Which is what nobody wanted, considering, like, there's a little bit of a hunt trying to chase them down because they have such a point lead on everybody else. Well, they've guaranteed themselves at least 40 more right now, so.
Yeah, at the very,
At
very least. So Team Vitamin Water, I feel like at this point kind of solidifying themselves at that top place, that number 1 place, because at this point they had such a huge lead because of how consistent they were, always getting that top 1, top 2 placements. And now it was like, oh, right, now Velma got nerfed. How is Team Vitamin Water going to bounce back? You know, Team State Fair won the last 2. You know, what's going to really happen? And Vitamin Water with the answer, well, we're just going to play Velma. Well, duh.
That's all it takes sometimes. Good stuff. Really, really good stuff. I mean, impressive 3-0. I know we didn't predict it. I'm sure a lot of people watching were at least expecting to go to 4. I mean, I got to imagine just based off what we saw, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it went to 4 ring outs 3 times in a row. That's what it went to.
Yeah, in very dominating fashion. At least that last game, I felt like Team State Fair was starting to get the gears turning, you know, start to maybe get something going. But it was still convincing, don't get me wrong. It just wasn't as bad as Game 1 and 2. Game 1 and 2 was just
I agree.
a slaughterhouse.
Yeah, and you know, they obviously Meth had to kind of decide between the Shaggy and the Harley, like which way to go. But you know, neither one able to tip the scales in their favor enough to get a game. So maybe they'll get another crack at them in Grand Finals. I mean, we do know they won the tournament last week through the loser side of things, so meaning they had to win 2 sets in Grand Finals. So who's to say they can't rally and get their job done? And of course, there are going to be some tough teams standing in their way. Most notably, the team that's going to come out of losers semis, which will advance on to face them. So we'll find out what team that is momentarily, as the bracket still rolling on, being finalized and stuff like that. But I think, you know, safe to say, Charles, you know, since we've been doing the cast here, that I would say that was maybe, just given how dominant they were coming into Winners Finals, that might have been the most impressive Winners Finals I've seen since we've been doing it. Yeah,
this bracket feels like the speedrun bracket. That's what it feels like. A lot of 2-0s.
Somebody's got dinner plans, that's all.
I don't think we've had a single Game 3 or Game 4 or anything like that.
No, like, yeah, I mean, that was our first Game 5 and it was a shutout. And yeah, I don't think we have gone to Game 3s. I think everything is that we've seen at least on stream, at least on stream, has been like a sweep for one team.
This is the O bracket. Something O.
Yeah. And it's kind of, I mean, it's kind of easy to see maybe why that's the case, simply because of like the teams that we have displayed. You know what I'm saying? And they met when it's finals. Well, you see how that finished out. So I don't know. Everybody, you know, I guess because towards the end of the season, everybody kind of ramping up their play and their energy and what they're bringing to the table, and it's really, really entertaining to watch. You know, a pleasure to cast for sure.
Yeah, and so many different changes as well. Like the curveball with Caustic just sticking with the Velma and it just completely dominating. Very surprising considering pretty much every other team has dropped Velma at this point. So, might see a new flavor of the month next week.
She's back.
She never left.
I wonder if the devs are watching like, All right, what do we do now? Like, you can't stop her.
You can't stop this character.
I would say she's like, it's clearly that she's like a little bit more difficult to pilot, but I think though, and I don't want to underestimate the value or the body of work that Koslik's putting into to make this work, because it's not just by happenstance. Like clearly, they tested this out a lot, and they're making it work despite a lot of those hard hits that did put a lot of doubt in people's mind on the character. So my hat's off to him too, him and Mirror Man. They're such a solid duo, and I'm glad to see that they're able to just kind of weather any of these storms, any of these challenges, and really come out on top. It's a good look.
Yeah, and I even, when I looked at the nerf, myself as a Velma player, I looked at it and I was like, oh, well, that sucks. But, I mean, all it really means is you have to play a little closer, right? And that's fair.
They want people to scrap.
Right, like, should you have been cross-stage, being able to, like, hit people and also KO them or help your teammate out? Was that a little strong? Absolutely. All right, but now you just got to play a little closer, which is fine.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. Just more so just trying to have closer interactions, right? And I think that was the goal for the balance, and I think it's working out well, and I think Velma is still a competitive character.
Right.
You just got to play it a little closer, which is obviously not as strong, but I think that's fair.
If you look at look at the trailer, man. They were all just like scrapping in that freaking dust bubble and stuff like that. Nobody was across the pond just shooting stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They were in the fray. Okay? That's just what it is. The game meets the trailer now, a little more accurately represented. I'm okay with that. Okay? They should hire me for the PR, baby. I can make anything sound crisp. Here we are, losers. Losers final. We're jumping right into losers finals. Team Mike and Nike actually coming out of semis. So that explains a little bit of a wait we had there. They had semis going on, so we are getting right into the thick of things right now. One of these teams going to get an opportunity again at Team Vitamin Water, but who will it be? I don't know, man. Team State Fair. Like, besides winners finals, they have decimated anybody in their path. So I think Team Mike and Ike knows that very well, obviously. So we shall see.
But when you're Team Mike and Ike and you are the team that emerges from the losers semis, which is essentially the team that's like, okay, we're the team that emerged from losers.
Right.
Because when you're put in losers finals, it is from, being from winners finals. So could give you a lot of confidence, a lot of momentum here. And you do have Shaggy, so you have ways to deal with bolts. Like 100%. Already the bolts are already shredded here, so they definitely have the answers, they have the tools, but Team State Fair has just been playing so well.
Yeah, and I think it was Team DSO that we saw them fight in quarters, right? So we do know that they're already pretty accustomed to what it's going to take to at least get through a team that does have an Iron Giant. But I would argue Clueless is an Iron Giant in a league of his own for sure. So got to pay that man the proper amount of respect.
Okay, so far, Clueless still alive here. They do have a point as well, the Shaggy sandwich. And we got Shaggy on both sides here. Shaggy, again, we've definitely seen an uptick with Shaggy.
Yep.
And we kind of think it's because of the Iron Giant uptick as well, right? Very
Good
great character.
countermeasures.
And, I mean, we've always thought that this character was overall just extremely solid in both singles and doubles.
Definitely is, 100%. Like there's been some GOAT Shaggies that we've seen too. So not a surprise to see this character on the upswing. Trying to get those big hits. Nice. Okay, able to even things out. And smart stuff right there. Able to avoid that attack from Jake. Just obviously trying to charge that one up. Use the range that Jake does have to help accumulate some. Ooh, to accumulate some ring outs. IG's pretty high up there. I mean, 166. Goodness. Not going to take too much. Able to fade the sandwich, but the uppercut from Shaggy right on cue.
Okay, but answering right back, it's 2-2, and immediately Clueless getting a KO right off the rip,
So
right
strong.
off the respawn, getting this combo started as well. The bolts are going to be down though. It's a huge cooldown here. We'll see if the blue team can go ahead and take advantage of that. Team Mike and Ike going to go ahead and press the advantage.
Definitely trying to, no doubt about that. Not too far behind, all things considered. Pretty modest though on the percentage side, just in those 70s. So you're gonna need to definitely pick it up a little bit while watching your back. You don't want to let them get anything cooking too early. Ooh.
Okay,
Oh, look at that missile control, bro. It's so good at just kind of hurting them to where they wanted to be. Oh, I thought that was a KO opportunity, but Jake unable to capitalize.
Yeah, in that situation, maybe just opting for the recovery, but not noticing that you had that layup, right, essentially for that KO.
Yeah, just kind of maybe keeping in mind, like, yeah, one more ring out and we're definitely out of this first game. So I understand that for sure. Still, though, unable to put anyone away. The scrap continues, man, but more and more, obviously, to the side, in the favor of the red team it goes.
You gotta be so careful if you're the blue team. You have to play perfect at this point. Not a single KO. You can
those
afford
bolts were
here.
godlike.
Oh, the bolts are out. Can you get rid of them? Getting around. There's so much rampage going on right now, but it is Clueless and Meth that will end up on top. Very convincing, 4-2. I mean, maybe you could have pulled something out of the hat if you're Team Mike and Ike, but it was a tall task.
I think if they were able to get that KO that they kind of left on the board, Jake wasn't able to do that, like you said, kind of maybe focus more so on the recovery. Maybe that could have made it a little bit more interesting, but yeah, they put themselves in such a strong spot to succeed, given how high the percent already was on Jake. So it really just became like a matter of time. So good opening game for Team State Fair. They are looking to get back to their winning ways and kind of dusting off that scuffle they had in winners finals that did not go their way at all to come into losers finals opening strong.
Yeah, I think even if Team State Fair is able to make it back to Vitamin Water, I will give them the benefit of the doubt that I don't think the same set will happen.
Yeah.
I think there's no way this tournament is just the O tournament. Like, there's no way. There's no way this is also going to be a 3-0 and then the 3-0 grand. I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
It would seem a bit unlikely for that to be the case, but I mean, man, you know, the way these teams are kind of dishing it out, like it's hard to disagree. That was so good, man. What a reversal right there. Just bolt action, if you will. I like that a lot. So that was really cool. And then just the finisher right there. Put them in the dirt. You know what we do. You know the vibes. Team State Fair all day, every day.
Yeah, this is a momentum bracket if I've ever seen one. So we'll see if some kind of momentum gets broken here because Team State Fair, extremely dominant. I mean, not as... That game was a lot closer than it looked, I will say that.
Yeah, sure.
There was that one missed KO opportunity which could have changed the tide of everything. And if they're able to line up a double KO, which was definitely possible, but going to be a little on the harder side. So definitely down, but not completely out here. We'll see if they can turn things around. Team Mike and Ike can get themselves on the board here or losers finals.
Yep, here we go. Big game number 2 brewing. I think definitely Team Mike and Ike knowing that. They're definitely coming out the gate swinging very solidly right now. Putting on the damage for sure. Team State Fair can kind of reassert themselves. Wow, this Shaggy is putting in some work. Hold up. The big catches. Yeesh, all right. He's like, you know what? Let me go ahead, pull out the big guns. Quite literally, here come those missiles. Not really catching anybody though. Bubble action. Let's see what Shaggy can do out of that. Kung Fu kick.
Clueless took the quick 140. Got the transformation, was able to bring out a lot of damage off of that transformation there. Go ahead and cancel out that empowered sandwich, but it looks like the reversal here not gonna be enough. Is it? Oh man, all players sitting at fairly high percent except Jake here. Gotta avoid the sandwich, there's the kick.
Yeah, Jake's done a good job of dealing out a lot of damage, but not being so much in the fray where he's taking the brunt of any of these big time hits.
Okay, there's the bolts. Look at this, just running around, getting around all of just that pressure, right? And 2 KOs right off the rip. But the answer back, finally, Meth getting taken out, was at a very high percent. But again, Jake not too high of a percent at 83, but Jake pretty heavy.
Yeah, Jake doing, really just being the difference maker right there. Because understanding, okay, like my Shaggy might go out here, but oh my goodness, in such a way. You know, Iron Giant, like it does seem kind of deceptive because it doesn't necessarily look like the fist is going to connect, but just so much range. He's such a big body there, like unable to avoid. Now that strong little advantage that they had with Jake kind of wiped out a bit.
Yeah, 2-2 and fairly low percent for everyone. Looks like Meth taking a little bit more beating than everyone else, but in a game like MultiVersus, the damage, I will say, can come easy as long as your team combos are on point. And that's something that both of these teams have the ability of doing. Look at this. Just tossing over to their allies. Back and forth here. You can rack up so much damage.
I say, speaking of the combos, you know, you're seeing it right now. Team State Fair, they do an excellent job. They're so good at just kind of switching who they elect to target in a lot of these situations. They're kind of spread out right now. Iron Giant looking for some help. He's gonna find it. That sandwich coming through. Big so time save from Meth. Oh, and what a pickup right there. Clueless on the offensive. My goodness, they sneak back into the lead ever so slightly right now.
All right, can you close here? The Shaggy is off stage, able to make it back.
Oh my
God.
God.
Really great. And when you have that perk, you can also kind of give like a mini bolts to your teammate as well. So very great timing. Not, you know, Clueless not being selfish with all of his cooldown.
Right, right. Which you gotta appreciate, right? You gotta appreciate. Oh, big knee. Definitely trying to go for this KO. Oh, but the knee reverse. Nice. Okay. Anybody's game right now. IG, can we survive? He is coming through.
Can you break the curse of this bracket?
It's gotta. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen right now. The kung fu kick. Nobody home. Goes for the big play. He was doing a lot right there, but it's gonna be Meth coming through to keep the streak alive, and Charles, the curse continues as Team State Fair takes a 2-0 lead.
Okay, that was probably the closest game we've had this entire bracket.
Definitely.
3 points to 3. Both teams had like at least one player that was around that 130+ percentage there, and I love the stalling coming out from Jake, but it just wasn't enough because of Shaggy's horizontal mobility with that kick. And especially with that up, you know where Jake is going to end up there. So I like the idea of the stall, but it was just great gameplay coming out from Meth. And then obviously Clueless always being that survivable tank towards the end that you can rely on.
I really thought this was the start. They could just keep the lead and keep it advantage. But this right here, bro, didn't even look like it came within 3 feet of hitting him, but still got the KO. IG, man, those hitboxes are crazy. And that, it pulled him right back in there. And then from there, they didn't dominate from that point. It became an all-out back-and-forth dogfight, which, great pickup right there. Just sensational. Just all around, man. This finally became a match where, Charles, we didn't know who was going to win. Here it is, 3 points apiece. Everybody scrapping. Iron Giant just trying to get back to the ground, just trying to stay leveled and avoid so much. But Jake on the other side, too. A little bit of risky business for him.
And look at that. I mean, Clueless even opting to force that up B there. Clueless was making sure. And that's one thing, able to have the confidence to be at 180 and you start the edge guard. And then you have reliance on your teammate to finish up if they get around your character right there, Clueless covering that low recovery and just knew and understood that Meth would cover the high recovery. So incredible stuff. And like I said, to start the edge guard and you're the one at 180, incredible confidence coming out from Clueless.
Yeah, that was pretty nutty. My hat's off to him. I mean, I really do feel like I don't even know necessarily if Clueless committing as hard as he was to Jake. I don't even know if that was just kind of hurt him to go high up and then just have Meth capitalize. I think Meth just kind of saw that, okay, he didn't get the ring out that he was looking for. Let me go ahead and be our plan B immediately. I got some space to work with and just took to the skies and just kung fu kicked him out and saved that game, man. Because it very well could be one apiece right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's just so much different than the 2-0 lead that Team State Fair has. Incredibly clutch coming out here. We'll see how this game 3 goes. Will this tournament be the O tournament? We'll find out.
We will find out right now. I mean, a chance right here to at least make it a little bit more difficult. See if they can do it. Okay, Smart. You go super low to refresh those resources. Still, though, taking a lot of damage. Okay. Attaching a lot of attention to Meth at the moment. He is getting beat down. Good connection.
Okay, here's the transformation, though. You got to avoid the bubbles. There's one caught up. Gonna go ahead and apply the weakness and get the damage. More projectiles, the missiles, everything coming out here for Clueless. And another round of bolts as well. This could be exactly what they need to catch up. Shaggy getting locked down in the bubble as well.
Ooh. All right, Jake patrolling. He's aiming right there. Get those stairs to connect. No can to do, but I think Shaggy, yes, nicely done. Okay, so that's gonna go down there.
He tries to get the chomp. Oh, gets the run back on it. Applies the weaken. Tries to cover high here. Oh, almost gets the punch there, the side air to connect, but the bolts are gonna come out. And there they go. But another round of transformation here. This is a lot of value here.
Dodged all of it.
Okay, but you still got to dodge the whole entire body. That is the Iron Giant. Here's the big sandwich setup here, but great avoidance coming out from the red team, Team State Fair.
Oh no, wow, I was gonna say, they could actually take the lead. They get the double KO here, not letting it happen. They can at least tie it up, and they will do just that. I tell you, man, hard to keep this team down. They are always going to be able to scrap back into it. Nicely done, and that just like that, on even footing yet again. Percentage obviously favoring the blue team, however.
Yeah,
Meth has been taking a lot more damage than I'm kind of accustomed to seeing, so So he needs to kind of get back to, obviously being the offensive juggernaut that we know he is. Getting bullied a little bit in this game 3.
Yeah, and I mean, for the first time, I was like, whoa, okay, wait, hold up. Team Mike and Ike with the lead here, but the immediate retaliation, of course, with the double KO. Team State Fair not gonna let it get that far.
That's maybe? No, wow. Okay, there we go. He said, you know what, run it back, break the curse, and I got us on the board. Team Mike and Ike taking game 3.
All right, well, the tournament of O's have finally ended here at Losers Finals. It's been a long journey, everyone. It's been a long journey, but
I never thought I'd see the day, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got a set.
We got a set, man. We're at least guaranteed a game 4. I'll take it. Goodness. They were just kind of like biting their lips like, okay, we got the lead here, got the momentum, let's not let it go. We kind of let that last game escape us.
Yeah,
let's make sure we lock them down on this try. And they did just that.
Getting the lead here and closing it out. Huge sigh of relief if you're Team Mike and Ike. You've done it once and you just got to do it 2 more times in a row. But the caveat, you can't lose on the way there because you're already down 1-2. So I definitely think they can do it here. It's going to take a lot. Team State Fair, one of the cleanest teams so far in this bracket, especially has been on a roll this past couple weeks, has won the last 2 tournaments for Series E, so they want to go for the 3-peat, but I don't know. Right now, Team Mike and Ike contesting them, and they also got Team Vitamin Water contesting them in grand finals.
Oh, that was so beautiful. And then it's like, okay, I'm not done yet. Yeah. I still got some more feet for you. Beautifully played.
All right. Closing out that edge guard. I mean, Iron Giant, such a huge target off the stage there, so able to close that one out. And even with the dodge or the bolts, if there's no bolts, it's a lot easier to go ahead and edge guard that. The cooldown was down at the time, so great capitalization. And Team Mike and Ike finally breaking the curse, getting on the board there. So we'll see if we can get a game 5, you know what I mean? We might as well go all the way at this point.
Don't get too greedy. All right, don't get too, we'll see. Obviously, counter pick right now advantage in the favor of Team State Fair. And probably thinking like, okay, I mean, we had been so dominant throughout so much of this bracket, probably do a loss at some point, right? Like, something's got to give at some point, especially when you're going up against other elite level teams. So not a surprise to see it finally happen there, but will it happen again? That is the question. I'm saying? They're gonna have the advantage going into game number 4. Are they gonna let this slip away and get to a game 5 where then the pressure is really on, or can they kind of rebound, 3-1 it, get the grand finals, get your rematch, and then see what happens from there?
It's a little tricky. It's a little tricky when you're down 0-2 and you get that victory on that 3rd game, because the next 2 games, no matter what, is going to be on your opponent's counter pick, right? So it is truly an uphill battle. We'll see if Team Mike and I can do that. I definitely know in terms of their ability, they're going to be able to do that. But, man, Team State Fair has been playing so strong, so consistent, so well this entire bracket. So, I mean, catching them slacking 1 game, yeah, maybe. But can you get them 3 games in a row is the question without losing a single one. But if any team can do it, I believe it can be Team Mike and I.
There it is. All right, well, here we go. Game number 4. It is indeed out. I feel like I'll never get the chance to say that, but game number 4.
Game 4.
It
I didn't know the game counts went that high.
I'm telling you, it is in fact happening right now. Team State Fair with the game advantage. Looking to put this one away perhaps, but man, Team Mike and Ike has really found some life and come together.
Yeah, this Shaggy-Jake combination. Shaggy, a very common character we've seen as of late, but the Jake still very unique to this team when it comes to the bracket here at Series E. Not too much Jake players. I mean, even before we haven't had that much Jake players as well, so.
Oof. Okay, nice.
Okay, that Iron back and forth.
Yeah, and Iron Giant has been such the difference maker for the majority of matches for this team, but they really found a way to kind of circumvent that in the previous game. They can continue their winning ways. Oh, I like this pressure being applied right now. All hands on deck. And the big swings coming through, as are the missiles. Okay, yeah, I thought Jake was looking for that big pickup. Might still find another one. No, Iron Giant able to fade it. Back and forth action they go, and the double ring out off of the 1 uppercut from Shaggy.
And you saw all the pressure coming out from the projectiles from Clueless and was able to rack up a ton of damage. And then Math coming up through with that uppercut, not just getting 1, but getting 2 of the KOs. This is such a huge lead. Their percentages are high, could get another double KO on Team Mike and Ike's side. Oh, but still getting back on the stage is Mev.
How did he avoid all of that, bro? Jake, Shaggy Sandwich, all the swings, and then put himself in advantage. That is insane. Finally gonna go ahead and take that one out, but wow. That one definitely had some life to it, man. That was a great performance on that.
Okay, now we got all the projectiles coming out from the transformed Iron Giant here. Okay, great job of avoiding it. Gonna get this huge combo starter onto the Iron Giant, but the bolts have come out and it's time to edgeguard. It's time to cash in.
Can we do it again?
Can you get back? Martoons does get back on the Shaggy there. Great recovery, but now it's 3 points to 1.
Yeah, it's like that Family Guy meme with Spider-Man. Everybody gets one, all right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
after that, kind of returning to the status quo because they are really putting the screws to him, no pun intended, with Iron Giant there. But my goodness.
Oh, but here's the bolts getting very offensive with it. Is Clueless trying to rack up a bunch of damage. Gonna do just that here, twirling. And all of this damage is so big because they just need one more KO. But now 3-3 here.
Still possible. Down, but certainly not out, especially when you think how high that percentage for Iron Giant. But it takes a lot to KO this big man, as we know. Trying to force this game 5. Can they get there? Oh no, that might be it. Yeah, it is. A good effort. It definitely came down to a couple of last hits, but Team State Fair squeaks it out 3-1 to get into grand finals and a rematch against Team Vitamin Water. Great set though, great set.
Great set. And Team State Fair just having a little bit more durability than Team Mike and Ike in that last point situation coming through. Iron Giant going to be so bulky and durable. I mean, 120% for Iron Giant. Realistically, you're usually not KOing Iron Giant until that 150 mark or so. And especially with the bolts right here, able to pop bolts, get so much guaranteed, and get the transformation to get the bubble towards the end there was so key.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, really, that double was just so good. Really put them in the lead quick. And from there, they were able to just really amass a strong lead just based off the fact that, I mean, Meth was insane with these. Look at this. I'm dodging 1, I'm dodging 2. Like, you didn't see it, but he dodged 3. Like, everything was coming at this man. And he was able to kind of turn it into offense, too. Like, his ability to survive was insane up until that point, obviously. But by that amount, they'd already gained such a strong foothold on the game. It was going to take a lot. And yes, they did get it down to like 3 ring outs apiece, but I feel like they were already so far ahead in just momentum. It just seemed impossible to just kind of do it from that spot that they were facing.
Yeah, fairly close, but
you know what I mean?
Just no fuzzy dice there towards the end for Team Mike and Ike. Team State Fair playing so on point as they have this entire bracket. The only team to kind of be that thorn in their side has been Team Vitamin Water. And I guess when I say thorn, I mean more like a spike, if you will.
Yeah,
it was brutal in Winners Finals.
Yeah, and you see just standing tall, standing proud, and standing victorious. Again, as I said, heading to grand finals to get a rematch from Winners Finals, where they lost 3-0 convincingly to Team Vitamin Water. Who's gotten a couple rounds, just kind of chill out and relax, get ready to wage battle one more time, and yet again put themselves on the map here at Series E by capturing another weekly win. That would be tremendous. I think that would make like 7 or 8 for them, which is insane to think about. So, if they're able to accumulate that, kudos.
Yeah, best average placing by far from any other team is going to be Team Vitamin Water. Even with some subs here and there throughout this season as well. So very impressive stuff from Team Vitamin Water. Hats off to you guys. Mirrorman and Caustics always killing it on the sticks there. And doesn't even matter if their characters are getting nerfed here and there. Caustics still on the Velma.
I can't tell the way he's playing.
Yeah, and I mean the great thing is, especially if there is an uptick in Iron Giant, again, Velma, Megaphone, even though the range got reduced, still a great move for shredding those bolts, right? So going to be an amazing combination. Going to be the Velma Megaphone combined with even like speech bubbles, take out 1 bolt each, and on top of that, you got Bugs spinning on them with Nair.
Exactly, man. Multi-hit monster. So really, just a lot of weight. That was really probably what just was what helped them get through it so easily, was the fact that we have so many ways to invalidate your Iron Giant. You know what I'm saying? You're kind of acing the hole, which has helped you with a lot of these matchups. For us, it's not nearly as effective. So You know, I don't think I've ever seen Clueless play anybody but Iron Giants. So I don't think we're going to see any switches from them. But they're going to have to kind of come up and be a little creative and clever to navigate through that bit of a disadvantage they find themselves in with that particular play.
Yeah, and I mean, even Team Vitamin Water does such a great job of disengaging from bolts. Even if they don't have multi-hits available, they'll see the bolts, they'll completely respect it, they want nothing to do with it, and they navigate around it, because after so much time goes by, the bolts will disappear as well. So you can use a bunch of different things, and Velma can also just disengage, go into things like Megaphone or Speech Bubbles to safely disengage those bolts, right? And Bugs Bunny also having a fair bit of projectiles himself, being that mage archetype, so you're able to chip away at these bolts via projectiles. So, and once the bolts are out, it can be really difficult for IG to really get anything going in terms of getting through all these projectiles, because you're so large, and without the bolts to kind of tank some of those projectiles on the way in, it can be very difficult.
There it is. All right, well, a lot of theory craft and a lot of talking. We already have the results, obviously, the data that we have from winners finals to kind of help us see how this one could end up going. But I do think Team State Fair is good enough, obviously good enough, but they'll be crafty enough to figure out a way to at least get a game on the board for sure. Maybe find a way to get to game 5, then you never know what could happen. So, you know, it's not out of the realm of possibility to think a reset could be on the table. They did it last week against World's Greatest Detectives. Different opponents for sure, different challenges with the characters that are on Team Vitamin Water in Velma and Bugs. But you know what, man? Keep a good mindset, stay motivated. We'll see. Yeah,
we'll see what they can do. I mean, there's how many times have throughout many different fighting games or any just games in general where you run into a bad matchup. It can be a little rough, be a little tough, but you just gotta be a little bit more crafty. You gotta outplay a little bit more than your opponent. And for the most part, you can come up on top, right?
You guys ever heard of Brawl Meta Knight?
Oof, that's a rough one.
That was a rough one from everybody. He had no losing match.
Validation.
He didn't even lose to himself. How does that work?
Looking in the mirror.
Grand Finals, baby. It is game number 1. Team State Fair looking to put up a better fight than they were able to show in Winners Finals. Gonna find out if that will indeed be the case. Iron Giant, if it was the target of a lot of pressure. Velma seemingly flirting with death a little bit there, but Kostel's able to navigate his way back safely.
Hey, there's the up racket, racking up some damage here. The save is out and working here. Gonna get some combos started, get that damage going. Honestly, not too much damage taken on IG, but just as I say, it takes a quick 93%. And yeah, this is it for IG in this matchup. I mean, we're going to see him get tossed around quite a bit. Double missiles coming through here. The bolts are online, but just like that, the bolts are off. And almost combos into the up air. That would have been it for sure.
Definitely seemed like that could have got it, but the safe, how about that? Wow, 2 ring outs on the board immediately. Good coverage right there from Mirrorman to allow Kostel's to get back very safely, using those tunnels to position themselves on the stage where they want to be. And I'll tell you what, Chuck, they are absolutely playing out of their mind yet again. And look at that, you can't just be a bystander right there, man. You gotta get in the fray. Clueless getting comboed to hell.
Don't be an eyewitness.
Sheesh.
You never want to be an eyewitness to your teammate getting comboed or KO'd. Like we always talk about, you either gotta disrupt it some way, somehow, get in there in the action, or get some kind of damage or KO trade. Meth definitely trying to do, but sometimes if you take your time too long, your teammate's going to be taking a lot of damage, especially if your teammate's IG.
Yeah, 100% agree with you on that one. So, gotta find a way to kind of circumvent that a little bit. Trying to do it. I like the maneuvers here from Kostel's.
Yeah, Team Vitamin Water definitely making that harder than it looks with the way they set up their pressure and all that stuff. So, trying to come in with the double missiles, and again, just doing a really great job as Team Vitamin Water playing around the strengths of Iron Giants. I mean, they have the tools to do it, but jeez, again, the 2v1 combo.
Dude, they are massacring them right now. Like, I don't know a nice way to say it. This is definitely rough. You see Kostel's Kostel's playing with so much confidence, right? He's getting all these good pickups. He's being an excellent support. Like, he's just been able to tank. Like, he's been fantastic. Good stuff from Mepto, finally able to put him away on that one. Get themselves at least a little bit closer. But man, he has got to be careful. This Shaggy might be on a little borrowed time. Oh, and look at they're trapping right there, trying to keep him locked down.
Yeah, and even I like the fact that Kostel's is playing up a lot closer. We're seeing Kostel's get in a lot more like scrappy scenarios
Yeah.
because of, I mean, you can't just play as far back as usually, right? So even the way Caustic is adapting to some of these changes for Velma, definitely making a lot of it work. Looking so powerful here, and they definitely know the IG matchup. That's one thing for sure. But the missile off the top, they've done such a good job of avoiding all of these projectiles, which finally one will connect and go ahead and get a KO onto the Mirror Man here.
Definitely making it interesting at the very least. I do appreciate that, but they got to really rack up some percentage while avoiding taking one of those final hits from Koslix and Mirror Man. You can tell they are definitely headhunting. They don't care where it's going to come from. Either or will do. Oh. Got him? Yeah, that's going to do it. Okay, yeah, the Acme Rocket. Hard, even for Iron Giant's big body to survive something like that at those higher percents. And good stuff, able to pull that one through Vitamin Water. But Team State Fair starting to make some ground towards the latter part of that match for sure.
Yeah, 3-3, huge improvement from any of the games from Winners Finals.
100%.
So that's always a great way to start, even though you didn't get that victory. It was indeed close. You know that they are making strides in terms of just playing their game and kind of adapting to the play style that is Team Vitamin Water. So, I mean, Team Vitamin Water still, even within that game, even though it was so close, they had so many great plays onto the Iron Giant, counterplaying the Iron Giant. So fantastic stuff from both sides here. It looked pretty hard, like Team State Fair was still behind, obviously, but I mean, one solid string, it could have been it because Team Vitamin Water was at that mid-percent, but Team Vitamin Water just not giving it up in neutral, doing such a good job of commanding everything.
100%, man. That was crazy. Woo! Man, I gotta say, like, you know, the way Team Vitamin Water starts out, it's just like, okay, well, here we go, repeated winners. But I love the fact that Team State Fair stayed in it, right? Yep. Like, it seems like you, right, at this point where it's 3-1, you're like, oh, man, just wrap it up. But no, they had a lot of tenacity, you know what I'm saying? Like, they really were just like, okay, we can still scrap this out and kind of make something work, you know what I'm saying? So the fact that they were able to string together some big plays to make it to the point it's like, okay, you know, make it a little bit more interesting. Okay, we're not really sure how this one could necessarily end up. Like right there, boom, popped on. I was like, okay, still an opportunity. But the problem was the percentage was so much in favor of the blue team. Right. You know what I mean? It just felt like it was almost inevitable. And right there, the Acme Rocket, as with bugs, tends to be inevitable.
the famous Acme Rocket coming out from Mirror Man. And that was actually Kozlik's hitting the megaphone into the Acme Rocket there. So great stuff coming out from Team Vitamin Water, always comboing into each other's KO moves. That's why they're able to clutch out so many games of survival. They hit all the check marks when it comes to a great team, right? They got the survivability, they got the offense, they got the team synergy, everything you need to win, set anything and everything you need to win a tournament. And I think Team Vitamin Water is lining up to do just that.
All right. Oh, they got one game down. Obviously, winner's advantage here on the winner's side of Grand Finals. So even if this one does somehow go haywire, they still got another set to fall back on. But certainly that not within their plans, given everything we've seen thus far. A lot of distance between the two right now, and then just coming through, trying to close that distance. Watch those rockets. Oh, how about watch those combos, man? Mirror Man puts them together like no other.
Okay, here is the combo starter on IG. I don't think the bolts, they are going to come up soon, but not quite yet here. So it's going to be big damage.
Ooh.
Iron Giant barely making it back onto the stage. Look at all the rockets on the screen right now.
My goodness. Just accumulating it very, very quickly. It is that damage.
Okay, the transformation here off the bubble.
Oh, can we get that? That would be big. Velma trying to stall. One thing too about Costas we've seen in past tournaments, this guy can survive with Velma, right? Like even in these pressure situations, like when he's off the stage, he can definitely hang in there. So far from easy to get a KO off of him in that fashion.
Yeah, and the thing about Velma, not the greatest recovery in the world as well. So
he makes it work.
Impressive defense, very impressive, just coordination coming out from the team as well. Because Mirror Man and Caustic always helping each other out when they're recovering, right? Put some kind of pressure on the player going for that edge guard.
All right, a lot of big swings at the moment. Nobody though getting the ring out. This is surprising that everybody able to survive so long. Nicely done. A lot of good offense, but maybe even better defense coming out from all these players at the moment. I'd imagine though something's got to give at some point.
Okay, the bolts are online. Most of the multi-hits shredded out here. You're going to connect. Oh, are you going to be able to confirm off the speech bubble? Yes, but it's not into the KO. The armor to get through the Velma up air.
Okay,
so well played. Another armor here, and it's, oh wow, actually getting the grounded hitbox and getting the trade here, 1-for-1 here.
Yeah, great little reversal to keep him from being down 2 ring outs. That's really good. Meth out of his mind, able to survive almost everything, and still this man will not let it go. Meth, I gotta give him a lot of credit. Finally though, the Rocket says everybody at some point falls to me, and that's gonna be the case right there. Megaphone for a little bit of coverage from Velma.
And you can see in a lot of scenarios where the Megaphone just being short of getting a hit, and the nerves are real. You know what I mean?
100% agree.
And that is another thing that I always want to shout Caustic's out for, still making it work on this character, regardless of the nerfs. This should be it. Yeah, right out of the bubble. Nowhere to go if you're Caustic's now. 2-2, but wait a minute. Mirror Man going to work here on this Iron Giant, and you get back on stage, but not without a price here.
Right. And you saw the speech bubbles accompanying too. Like, Caustic's like, oh, okay, I can help you out a little bit here too, with racking up that percentage, no problem.
Okay, big damage though. Iron Giant trading back and forth here. Already is Mirror Man being up to 91%. That's definitely not the same thing as Iron Man 91%.
Yeah. Nope. All right, weaving and bobbing right now.
Setting up the rabbit hole there. Great stuff. Oh, wait a minute. Velma kind of pinched in between the two, but Mirror Man able to join the fray here, relieve a little bit of pressure, shred off these bolts. Maybe no, it looks like they're just going to wait it out. Team Vitamin Water, waiting out the missiles, waiting out these bolts.
Yeah, gotta do it, man. Don't just kind of give in there. Some things you don't necessarily need to kind of scrap and fight.
Okay, getting knocked out of the bubble there. Pretty huge.
Nice. Big pickups. Who really wants this? Next ring out could go a long way. Right now, I actually kind of favor the red team a little bit. Just the position they found themselves in, got them at a nice percentage too to kind of get some of these points on the board. Oh wow, big time conversion. Oh, from both. Actually, it is super even right now. Velma or Iron Giant. The survivability's got to be, of course, with Iron Giant, but Caustic can be so tricky with keeping his Velma alive for as long as possible. And look at that. You can see not just picking defensive options, willing to get in the fray, trying to cause a little bit of chaos and mayhem for Mirror Man to maybe get that finishing blow.
Oh, can you get the reversal? Oh my goodness, almost gets the up air, but here on the hunt is Iron Giant. Both the red team just on the hunt right there, using the rabbit hole. Great stuff coming out from Caustic's being so slippery. Giving that mobility to Velma is another reason why this team is so strong, and now Shaggy and Iron Giant in that KO percentage.
This is actually terrifying. And you see it too. This is where they can really exploit you though. You get your tunnel vision a lot trying to get Velma. You've got to be careful here.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh my, got him. Yes, they did it. Wow, finally. They put all their focus on Velma, and sometimes we've seen like in those last minute scrambles that can betray a little bit, but on that one they were able to come out with a victory. Team State Fair says this is not winners finals, this is grands, and we're bringing a different level of fight.
All right, so once again, ladies and gentlemen, we got a set 1-1 here, and even that first game looking a lot more competitive than the winners final side here. So Team State Fair, I mean, I said it even before we started this grand final set. I don't think it's going to be that same 3-0 fashion we saw in the winners finals. These are top caliber teams. You know the adjustments, even though they're pretty quick. You're asking for it pretty quick. Like, oh, okay, could you make those adjustments in like a 30-minute time span or whatnot? However long that losers finals set was. But this team, so strong, so talented, be able to do that at a drop of a dime.
Yeah, I mean, there were so many points too where it was just like they just elected to just kind of like stop fighting, right? They kind of like put some space between each other and kind of getting their resources together. Okay, using those projectiles. Okay, now he wants to kind of come in and play chicken a little bit, right? And down the stretch, like we've seen so many of those last hit scenarios benefit Team Vitamin Water, right? That in the past, that is where they tend to flourish because they got that nice clutch gene. But this time, Team State Fair, man, they just brought a little something different. And even on this, where I was a little concerned, I was like, don't tunnel vision Velma too hard. They were just like, no, our sights are set on her, and for good reason, able to get the KO after like a little 10, 12 second chase down, come up victorious. Nice.
Yeah, and it was a little tricky because Mirror Man was looking really healthy too, and at that point, Shaggy started taking a good amount of damage. So not only Iron Giant could be a target, but the Shaggy as well. So it was looking pretty good, but finally, that relentless pressure got to Caustic's, and Caustic's was finally taken down from the IG. Great stuff coming out from Team State Fair. And You know, there's so many times where both teams kind of disengage, and when you think about it, it's like, well, Velma and Bugs have very strong high-end cooldowns, but also, when you think of Iron Giant, the bolts are another very important cooldown, more on the longer side, so sometimes those resets where both teams are kind of chilling out on their respective sides, the Iron Giant's getting bolts back as well, right? So coming back in to the match or just coming back into the fight, you know, you're going to have to deal with Bugs Rocket and stuff like that in the safe, but also dealing with bolts is probably one of the strongest things about Iron Giant.
I would 110% agree with you on that. No disagreements. Here we go, though. Game number 3. Game number 3. I'm trying to take the advantage right now. The Iron Giant Shaggy combination finally coming through against this team, which otherwise up until that last game had just dominated them so much.
Oh, wait a minute.
Ooh, okay, there it is.
Iron Giant taking.
boom.
Oh my goodness, they tried to finish the job as well. Already a quick 107%. Iron Giant healing a little bit of it back. The bolt's getting popped and they're almost out of order. Just one bolt left to go, but is going to time out eventually here. Man, look at this damage on both ends here. Blue team looking extremely healthy. Vitamin Water not breaking a sweat when it comes to percent, and already Team State Fair, they don't got to worry about percents. They got to worry about the points on the board because Team Vitamin Water already got one.
Yeah, and again, as you said, Charles, at a very modest percents on both 48 and 15. That's nothing. I mean, this is basically just fresh lives for them to work with, and they're already, and the red team's already down a ring out. And oh my goodness, somebody please call the police. My goodness. The assault that Iron Giant is taking right now, they are determined to send this man back to the scrapyard. That is for damn sure. It is nothing pretty right now in this game number 3.
Second rounds of bolts already forced here for Clueless. And even with the bolts already at 110%, you gotta watch it again. And Shaggy's still at pretty high percent as well. So right now, a very dominant start here for Team Vitamin Water. But Team State Fair gonna get one back, and the transformation is complete here. We got the rockets set up with the bubbles covering all kinds of options here. And Caustic's getting out of the scenario. Fantastic defense coming out from Caustic.
Yeah, 1000% right. Like, this guy just kind of knows, right? Like, okay, like all these different situations that, you know, could otherwise prove to be deadly for me. No, I know exactly how to map myself around the recovery routes, just his ability to just see danger coming and get the hell out the way. Second to none up there. No, not going to be quite enough, but how about another one? Yes, sir. Run it back. 3-1 lead right now. They are definitely trying to remind folks exactly why they got into the winner's side of Grand Finals, doing a sensational job at the moment.
Yeah, Team Vitamin Water is doing an incredible job of stacking their moves together as well. The last 2 KOs, it was both of Team Vitamin Water, both Caustics and Mirror Man, hitting their opponents at around the same time during the hit stun and just kind of stacking the knockback, if you will, right? And that is going to be such an important thing to do to close out these points against some of these heavier characters like the IG, like that Shaggy.
Right, not doing a bad job here, trying to come through.
Still alive here, though. Mirror Man.
Gotta do it.
Burned a lot of time on those bolts as well.
Yeah, I mean, they just have such a strong lead. Like, even if they both eat a KO right now, they're going to be still in such a strong position, just given how high.
Okay, you gotta avoid the safe here. And look at that. All the key components there except that one bubble.
There's one.
Which is going to clutch out a point here. And Mirror Man's still on that higher percent here, so we could see things get even up real quick, but you gotta make sure you don't take too much damage if you're the red team.
Like when Mirror Man was trying to do send him into the Acme Rocket, didn't work out quite exactly what they were going for, but still great position to be in. 143. I mean, look at this. And just zipping through, man. Just absolutely in the face of certain death, just being completely fearless as they are really trying to make a statement with this game. They were trying to win it with authority.
Oh, is that enough?
Hold on, Velma. You don't want to eat the KO there. That ain't gonna help nobody.
Oh wait, but Iron Giant's really low, but it's actually a bait. Shaggy able to come through and get the KO, evening things up 3-3 here, but you still, I mean, your best target is Caustics at 45. You've got a ton of work to do if you're the red team, and it's not going to be it. Vitamin Water establishing such a huge lead towards that late game. Team State Fair not really having an out.
Yeah, A lot more there too. We saw in Game 3 as opposed to what we saw in Game 2 was they really put the combo screws to Iron Giant, right? He was eating routinely like 30 to 40% on some of those exchanges, right? That accumulates very, very quickly. Yes, that accumulates very, very quickly. So that really just helped them take that commanding lead.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just so hard to break it up sometimes because the worst thing if you're playing MultiVersus is if you try to help your teammate out to get out of a combo, but you end up joining them in the combo.
Right.
You don't want to join them getting comboed as well, right? So you got to be pretty careful around some of these hitboxes as well while you're trying to bail your teammate out of combo. Usually a projectile is generally the safest thing to do because you're not putting yourself in the fray there. But Shaggy, if you don't have sandwich, you kind of got to get your hands dirty sometimes, right?
That's big facts right there. Yeah, just so many exchanges. And again, just Mirror Man just being an absolute offensive monster yet again. Just able to just apply so much pressure. And then Koslic's too, great compliment as well. Like, look at that. Going back to back on those up air attempts, finally getting it on the second try with all that pressure being applied.
Yeah, and again, Team Vitamin Water is such a great team when it comes to just overlapping their moves and stacking their knockback. They're just very clean with it. You generally want to do that no matter what, but it really helps a lot against these heavier characters. We're seeing Team Vitamin Water get a lot of quote-unquote earlier KOs on Team State Fair, considering how heavy these characters are that Team State Fair is running.
Oh yeah, they definitely got some like the nice that up there. A lot of coverage, a lot of power, a lot of knockback, and it is going to be enough to get them that third game. So maybe potentially one more to go. Team State Fair going to have to replicate what they did in that second game, create some of that magic and get a victory out to force this to a fifth game and maybe even some overtime with a bracket reset. But having to win 2 in a row against this team that has proven that they've got a really good handle on how to approach, especially the Iron Giant right there being clueless. Not going to be an easy task, but being a winner, never really easy, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, from what I've seen so far throughout this whole entire tournament, Team Vitamin Water has been the only team that can shut down this IG, being clueless, on Team State Fair. So we'll see if they can find a way to enable the Iron Giant once again. But right now, Team Vitamin Water is able to bait out the bolts really early and then do crazy team combos onto the Iron Giant. I mean, and even in singles, you can do a lot of crazy combos on the Iron Giant. But when you got 2 characters on the screen going at it, it is crazy.
It is
the amount of damage you can do.
I absolutely agree. It could definitely be a little bit of a hurdle for sure. So.
Ooh, there's the bolts here.
Yep.
Very great reversal. This is exactly what Team State Fair needed. A little bit more of a back and forth in the beginning. Great navigation through the megaphone here, trying to trade back and forth, getting pushed to the corner. And look at this. Where is the Iron Giant going? Can you make it back? The bubble saving and the double dip coming through. Can you get the revenge? No, the Iron Giant just hovering right up and over with the bolt.
That seems all but certain that you're going to see Team Vitamin Water come out of that scramble up a point, maybe even 2. But no, not going to let that be the case. And even with that up air so close to the blast zone, still Iron Giant not giving it up just yet. This is the strong lead that they needed, right? Not getting overwhelmed from the start.
Okay, here's the save. But, wow, a save of your own, somewhat to speak, because of that giant sandwich kind of serves the same purpose as that save. Just really good covering fire as you're coming in. And now this is the tank that we know of when it comes to Iron Giant. 160%, very hard to KO. Just hovering around that area, still racking up that damage here.
Yeah, see Mirror Man kind of trying to force the KO too. Maybe needs to, disengage momentarily, kind of reset it. And just giving up a lot of free damage. So they are able to, get the ring out, tie things up, man. But they are definitely at a disadvantage from a certain point of view. Velma, are we going to survive? Just barely. Good stuff. Mirror Man coming through to give a little bit of coverage, much needed. Then Meth, okay. Ooh, no, not going to be able to connect with the down air. I thought it was right there, but no, sir.
Oh, the book, and wow, look at this.
He's
Where do you go? Where do you go?
Oh, they're picking it up. I'll give him credit.
Oh, look at, we're just hugging the wall. Great dodge, great reaction coming out from Clueless. Okay, but gonna set up the safe here. I mean, through all of that, it is still Team Vitamin Water with the point lead, but look at the percentage right now.
I'm gonna say that percentage definitely not gonna do them any favor. Double KO could be looming if they can get there. Velma in some trouble. Velma getting done up. And now, Mirror Man really gonna have to play this one close to the chest. But as I say, that comes out of the hole and into the skies. Good grief.
What a call out from Matt.
Right? That was nuts. He said, I've seen this 1 or 2 times before.
What a reaction. Just the short you can just right out of the hole there.
Oh no, they stole it. Oh my goodness. They got rid of Clueless and then that momentarily, you know, so many times Cosmos have been going for those spikes and then right there where Shaggy's like, let me just get a little closer to the wall to find some safe haven and just finds himself being knocked down. Great timing from Kostelix. Wow.
Man, I gotta say, the clutch gene is engaged for both Mirror Man and Kostelix. This team, Vitamin Water, no matter what you do to the characters, this team is always just going to be so dominant. And maybe not first every week, but most of the weeks we're going to see Team Vitamin Water on top here. Such a great run. And with the Velma.
Yeah, the Velma definitely coming back. And I mean, you can just kind of go through and just see exactly this path that they did in in grand finals. Obviously, Team State Fair coming from the loser side of things, and they put up a good fight. I mean, no one is going to dispute that. They definitely put up a good fight for sure, and made it way more competitive than what we saw in the winner side of things. But you know what? You said it best, Chuck. When it comes to clutch, when it comes to having that clutch gene, it's just kind of engraved, right? It's kind of built in to Team Vitamin Water, which is why they find themselves atop the mountain yet again.
Man, it's Edgeguard almost completing as well, but
I want to see this was. We're getting close to that last minute exchange.
Yeah.
We're just so many there. So Velma was finished off of that. I was like, uh-oh.
This was looking like a rough game. Team State Fair with the clear lead, and that call out from from the rabbit hole, insane coming out from Meth. They had such a crazy lead here, but Team Vitamin Water able to sneak in that double KO.
Yeah, this was nuts. So I think they're gonna get Iron Giant out of here first, yes. And then look at this. At 64 and then buried, right? Because Kostelix just kind of tracking exactly where Meth was going, trying to recover and not letting him get the opportunity. So, you know, they had really one good opportunity with Iron Giant out of commission for those few seconds, didn't let it go to waste.
And there is no hesitation on that 2v1 Edgeguard from Vitamin Water. Once Mirror Man got the IG off the top, got Clueless out of the picture, it was immediately 2v1. Clueless is still spawning and he's Iron Giant. He's not going to be that quick. It's going to be a little late on the draw for the assistants off stage, and went right to the 2v1 all in. They could have got reversal. Anything could have happened there. But especially when you're behind like that, you got to take those window of opportunities to close that game out, and Vitamin Water will never hesitate in situations like that.
No, they will not. And that is why they are yet again Series E weekly champions. $300 in the pocket to split, another 50 points for that point total, and probably just put it out of reach for anybody. So, you know, again, I do think at this point, pretty much you're all fighting for second at this point. I think with the win here, with us being as close as we are 2 seasons, and it feels like they just wrapped it up. So kudos to them, man. That was an incredible set for sure. And yet again, MultiVersus delivering on all cylinders.
Yep, congratulations to Team Vitamin Water. I don't know if anyone can knock you out of your throne at this point, but we're going to throw it over to Yeso in the blue room to hear his thoughts on this.
Thanks, gents. Great cast on the day. Everybody give some love to EE and Charles in the chat. Pros there, and so much fun to listen to you both break it down all day long. And Vitamin Water returning to the podium here, returning to the top of Series E after a bit of a break there, but they continue to be the best team in Series E MultiVersus, and a nice little statement there. Also have to give credit to State Fair, of course, winning last week, right? Their second Series E championship of the season, going back to the end of 2022 when they got their first win, but coming back this week and having another very impressive performance. Not that I think anybody was discounting State Fair after their win last week or was doubting them, but it feels like they kind of put a nice little emphasis on that statement from a week ago that they are the real deal. Hell of a losers run a week ago. They come out this week, get all the way to winners finals, battle against Vitamin Water. Of course, they fall there, but they earn that shot at redemption by taking the W in losers finals to get back at Vitamin Water and Grands. And while they unfortunately aren't able to get the win to push for the back-to-back, still State Fair finishing top 2 weeks in a row, and that is a very strong showing from them. So keep an eye on Meth and Clueless as we get closer to the wrap of the season on how they finish things out. They seem to have established themselves as the de facto number 2 in Series E with the way that they've played this season, and I hope we can get a few more sets between Vitamin Water and State Fair before we close out the inaugural season, because they seem to deliver every single time. But hats off to Vitamin Water, hats off to all of you, and big thank you to all of the competitors who came out and played today. But that is going to do it for us tonight, folks. Another week of Series E in the books. We're getting close to the end of the season, so I hope you are, marking your calendars, making sure you're here for all of the shows throughout the rest of this season, because it's going to be a blast. Of course, we'll be back with Apex Legends in a week on Wednesday, Guilty Gear Strive on Thursday, of course, and MultiVersus on Friday, so don't miss out on any of that. But I hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, have a good time. But my name is Jaso. It's always a pleasure to host for you all, for myself, the entire live broadcast crew, and everyone here at Esports Arena. Thanks so much for joining us here tonight. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time.